is a street hack. I'm a little worried.
Welcome to the 4th annual 11-day Power Play 2020, dubbed the Big Save this year. This year, the 11-day Power Play is presented by Clever Method. I'm Mike Lesikowski.
And I'm Amy Lesikowski.
Thanks for joining us here in our first ever live stream. This is going to be a great night, opening night of the 11-day Power Play. We've got the Strictly Hip playing throughout the night. We've got our original 40 team playing against the top fundraisers. We'll talk more about that later. And we also have a nice interview with Dr. Candice Johnson from Roswell Park a little bit later. Obviously, this year we have to change gears and do things a little differently. And even though we're faced with COVID this year, cancer doesn't stop. Neither will we. And we're going to continue the fight against cancer. And we've done it. We've decided to do it here, outdoors at Riverworks. We've traded a puck for a ball, and it's still hockey. It's still fundraising. And we still have some wonderful beneficiaries that are getting a lot of money. So thank you for joining us, and welcome.
And we have a lot of teams that are going to be playing over the next 11 days, and their fundraising efforts have been so tremendous that approximately 2 hours ago, we hit $1 million. So amazing, amazing. So, incredible thanks to our players, our volunteers, but also important, our sponsors. So, Mike, do you want to talk about the sponsors?
Yep. We could not do this event every year without our amazing sponsors. This year, the 11-day Power Play is put on by Clever Method. We have an amazing array of Power Play sponsors and overtime sponsors. We'll talk more about each of them and talk to some of them later. But this event cannot be done without them, so we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
And our event benefits Roswell Park, Camp Good Days, Make-A-Wish Western New York, and Oshai Children's Hospital, Roswell Park Oshai Children's Hospital Cancer and Blood Disorders Program.
Amy mentioned that we raised $1 million, but more importantly, in 4 years, we just surpassed $5 million. We couldn't be more proud and happy to raise that type of money for our wonderful beneficiaries. So thank you to everybody who's part of our event.
And we have a lot in store tonight. We have Strictly Hip playing with us tonight, music, which is amazing, Brian Duff, and obviously Candice coming soon.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the broadcast.
And here, introduce Dave Jixter to introduce the teams.
To start off, I would like to introduce the original 11-day Power Play Blue team and the winning team, winning from a score of 1,725 to 1,697, and setting a world record and raising over $1.3 million for cancer research. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Starting in goal, Mr. Ryan Martin, wearing number 1 tonight. Number 2, please welcome Mark Leonard to the concrete. Wearing number 3, Chris Stevenko. Wearing number 4, a co-presenter and creator of the 11-day Power Play, please welcome Mike Lesikowski. Wearing number 6 tonight, please welcome Dan Goo McGee. Wearing number 8 tonight, Craig Curtin. Starting at number 11, Chris Boron. Number 12, please welcome Todd Anderson. Wearing number 14, David Kaplan. Wearing
They don't have their
number
masks.
19, please welcome Sabres legend Michael Pekka. Wearing number 31 tonight, please welcome Chris Aqualine. David Constantine. Ladies and gentlemen, the most handsome and the oldest member of the original 11-day Power Play team, please welcome Mr. Alan Davis. Number 55 is Alan Davis. At number 67, please welcome Andrew Drew Kane. Wearing number 77 tonight, please welcome Matthew Coploys. Wearing number 90, Mr. Stephen Rudder. And ladies and gentlemen, that completes the original 11-day, original 40 Power Play team. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce to you a team. They are the top fundraisers here for 2020, raising over $112,307. Please welcome to the concrete, Hannah Lockwood. Please welcome Gavin Russell. Please welcome Paul McCormick. Please welcome Greg Valiati. Please welcome Nick Carl. And a very close relative, please welcome Mike Carl. Please welcome Ken Fernandez. Next up, Tim DiGiulio. And please welcome a very close relative, Jack DiGiulio. Welcome to the concrete, please welcome Keith Waldron. Also welcome Brian Kearney. And to complete the top fundraising team, again raising over $112,307, please welcome Adam Shine. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Wesakowski will now drop the opening face-off for the 2020 11-day Power Play.
Look at those amazing jerseys out there, lavender and white. Lavender, I think most people know. If not, that is the color for all cancers. This year, all cancers matter to us, as in every year. So we're excited to be able to show off those incredible jerseys.
Yeah, so we got a big surprise this year, really cool part of the event we'll get into over the course of the week. But essentially, representing different cancers, we've chosen to use different colored jerseys. So throughout each game, each day, different colored jerseys will be worn, and we'll focus on different cancers. So it's a departure from our traditional blue and white jerseys, but it's something that we're really proud, and I think the players will really enjoy the jerseys. And we're going to go back to Jix for a minute, and then he's going to introduce the Strictly Hip.
We move.
The founding person to get this outstanding band together, Strictly Hip. And Jeremy Hoyle, before we begin with you, why don't we introduce the band members here?
Sure. We have Bruce Wojcik here, Pride of Niagara Falls, and Frank Nicastro on the Les Paul. And that's Alan Slewinski on the bass guitar and Steve Patton on the drums.
And how long have you guys been together?
Way too long.
It's been a long time.
Yes. I don't know, 25 years.
Yeah, and then a highlight of your career had to be playing at the stadium last year before halftime for a Bills game.
That was a monster. That was a monster.
So listen, so we're here for a reason. It's the third annual 11-day power play. Obviously, 80% of the proceeds go to Roswell Park. Some proceeds go to Camp Good Days and Special Times and to Make-A-Wish. Three great, trifecta great charities. But we're looking for cancer research. Obviously, you're a huge Tragically Hip fan. Tell us about Gord Downey. Have you ever met him?
I have. Yeah, Gord Downey passed away of glioblastoma. And so all these causes that we're tackling here tonight with the 11-day power play are very special to us. This week is actually the 4th anniversary of the final Tragically Hip show in Kingston, Ontario. So hip fans, this week it's a special week for hip fans, special week for Canada, and we're happy to be here and play the world's greatest hockey music to a hockey game.
Yeah, and we're hoping to raise a lot of money. A lot of people are watching through 11daypowerplay.com on YouTube. We're hoping for donations, and we're hoping your music is going to help. I mean, it helps make people happy.
Sure, we're trying to do, yeah.
Jeremy Hoyle from the band Strictly Hip. You guys ready to play?
We are going to play some rock and roll, Jixter.
Take it away, Strictly Hip, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's get it started.
laughing. It's the only thing that don't change. 10.50 for an elbow. In the back of the half for a knee. Happy hour, happy hour, happy hour is here. Well, nothing's dead down here, just a little tired. Ooh, nothing's dead down here, it's just a little tired. Ooh, nothing's dead down here, it's just a little tired. Nothing's dead down here, it's just a little tired. Little bones,
hear us?
Joined now by Sabres host and 11-day power play participant, Brian Duff.
Hi.
Welcome, Duff.
I was just waiting for the sun to set over there so I could actually see you. Oh,
Good timing.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
it's my pleasure. It's the opening day. It's amazing how you guys continue to adapt and to think of. Honestly, I feel like this has been going for a decade. It has that much of an impact in this community, and everything you guys have been able to do so far, it never ceases to amaze you. You latch on to, popular trends that allow people to connect, whether it's through social or advertise, anything. And I'm in awe of what you've done, and I'm very thankful to be here.
Thanks. You can stay as long as you like with compliments like that.
We could not do this without you and so many other people that help us every day. This is a true community event. Question for you, Brian. I mean, you've been involved with the 11-day power play for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first interaction with us?
Oh, boy. I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I think right when you guys proposed it, I mean, obviously it was something that in our line of work, it's something that we're going to, get behind and promote. And I know I was away for a pretty big chunk of the first one. I was up in Canada visiting my parents, which now seems like an impossibility. I haven't seen them since almost the start of the year because I can't get up there to see them. And, from that point on, I mean, it felt like with every passing day, you knew somebody else that was getting involved. And you were getting, I would use the word besieged, but that has like a negative connotation. But you were getting a lot of emails from people reaching out like, hey, can you spare $25 and, sponsor me? But I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, right? And I just felt like, and you already said it, Aim, it's community, and it just got to a point where it's like, is there anyone that I know that isn't involved in the 11-day power play? It was that remarkable how its tentacles reached out so quickly and just kind of grabbed the entire area.
Well, if they're not involved, if they haven't been involved, they better get involved, right?
I can't imagine you'd find someone that hasn't been connected to a person who's been on a team or knows someone who has fundraised. It really, it has just made an incredible footprint here. It's great. And I think the nice thing that I've heard is that, people outside of this market have taken note of it. And then we already know it as a Buffalo thing, but it's nice that this Buffalo thing could be respected and copied and followed and enjoyed and used to the advantage of other communities. That's the beauty. I mean, so again, congratulations for being trendsetters in the best possible philanthropic way.
Yeah.
Well, and this year is new. You have your kids playing this year, correct?
No, they're just here watching.
Oh.
Cheerleading.
So they're not participating?
They're not participating, no. I think one's 15, one's 13, and I never really pushed them too hard into hockey. And I would say that it's probably been at least a decade since I even tried. So.
Yeah, we had one not play hockey our daughter played for a little bit.
Yeah.
Basketball took over. And then I grabbed onto Liam and I said, "You're playing hockey."
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun.
They both skate, and we enjoy recreational skating in the winter. And I think that's, for me, is the biggest comfort, because I just wanted them to make sure that they knew how to do it and were never intimidated by it, because you get older, you're in your teenage years, your 20s, and social events pop up. You don't want to say, "Oh, I can't do it," and then keep yourself away from it. And so in that sense, they're comfortable around the rink, whether they're spectators or casually skating or whatever. Yeah.
Switching gears for a second, being a Canadian guy yourself, you hear the Strictly Hip in the background.
Well, that was another reason, I had the mic unplugged and was stalling to get on, because I was actually just, enjoying it. It really is. I mean, look, it's a beautiful setting where we are. The sun's going down on another fabulous day. This summer has been amazing, but to hear Strictly Hip, it never, ever gets old. And I think, again, that's kind of the beauty of this little market that we live in. It's very unique among American cities to have this kind of love for a band like this.
Yeah, and obviously you're a Hip fan, right?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, I think the first time I saw them was in Edmonton. I was working mid-'90s out in Edmonton on the Oilers radio broadcast, and I think that was the first time I saw them, and in a big arena show, that is. And, it's still hard to believe that Gord's not with us anymore, but the power of music is that he'll never, ever not be with us.
Yeah, Amy and I actually came here to Riverworks to watch the last show that they played in Kingston.
Right.
And we were here, and it was, man, I got goosebumps thinking about it. It was so emotional. And being back here and Strictly Hip playing is kind of interesting how it all connects together. And unfortunately, Gord passed of glioblastoma, which is a horrible form of cancer. And it just, stuff like that fuels us.
Well, and I mean, anytime now when you're in this hockey setting, we're 24 hours removed, not even probably, since Dale Howardchuk passed away.
Yep.
Yet at the same time, we're trying to celebrate the return of Oscar Lindblom with the Flyers. I mean, to be so young and to have the Ewing sarcoma diagnosis that he had, early on in this season, and to see him battle back. We're never far from it. We know that. And, boy, it really hurts knowing that Dale isn't with us, through Howardchuk Strong. And just reaching out to Brad May last night, I was just offering my condolences to him, because he, has such a great amount of respect for Dale as a mentor when the two of them were with the Sabres in the early 90s. And Brad texted back this, as Brad often does, this incredibly heartfelt message saying that Dale had called him in the last 24 hours to say goodbye, and to not hurry up to catch him up there, and to say that he was going to do his best to look over everybody until they all get there. And
pretty amazing.
It's incredible. We, our line of work, we're lucky to be able to celebrate the accomplishments of those athletically in their field on the ice. But when you find out over time that someone is even more of a Hall of Famer from a humanitarian and just a great person standpoint, it really does blow your mind how people can be so great at everything. And I think Dale was that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we had him here in Buffalo for a long time, which was a real highlight of my youth, because he was the first overall draft pick, and just an amazing hockey player. I didn't know him as a person. Obviously, he's older, but man, he was fun to watch as a player.
I think that's, I take it, always have taken it seriously, I think, in the sense of, I love the history of the game and the numbers and the stories, and try to, retain as much of it as I can, so you can share the great stories with people naturally, spontaneously, in our line of work. And so opportunities like this past year, where it was the 50th season, it really gave us a big opportunity to dive back into the record books, right? To try to tell the younger generation why these names matter, and all of them do. Anybody that's ever worn the sweater has a place in the team's history. But at a time like this, with Dale's passing, people need to understand, the one thing that captures hockey fans' minds all the time is trade talk, right? Well, you think of what the Sabres did in and around that time in 1990. They had a number 1 overall pick in Pierre Turgeon. They traded him for Pat LaFontaine. They had a future Hall of Fame defenseman in Phil Housley. They traded him for Dale Hawerchuk. I mean, these are massive trades. These are larger-than-life hockey players that came to this market, and that's why that team was so good in the 90s. The regular seasons didn't show it, but they had an incredible amount of talent, and amidst it, even though Dale was on the back side of his career, like Dale led the team in scoring in 3 of his 4 full years here. That's with LaFontaine, with McGillney, with other, he was a true legend in this game, and I hope that the young fans find a way to learn more of Dale's story, because boy, at age 57 and with what he was still giving to the game as a coach in the Ontario Hockey League, including one of our prospects in Matej Picard, learning firsthand from him, again, we say we've lost another one too soon.
Yeah.
So.
That's why we keep doing what we're doing.
That's right.
I knew, coming here, and obviously why everybody's here. So I had to reach out to my mom again today, because she's a cancer survivor, and I always get the dates confused. So it was 1976 for her, and so I was just about 5 years old, and she never had to go through chemo. She had surgery for breast cancer, and like she said, thankfully she had a surgeon that was obviously very good and got everything. But she texted me something today that, I knew, but sometimes when you read it, it really can kind of rattle you a little bit, because that word still strikes fear in us so much.
Yeah.
And so while she had the surgery and she recovered, for 25 years she continued to go to Princess Margaret Hospital in Toronto for checkups. So while I knew that, when I read it, I was like, my God, like your nerves every single time. Yeah. She's in her 20s when she's dealing with it, and then she's almost 50, and she's still going for checkups.
Yeah.
That's your life is impacted forever by this. And I'm just one of the lucky ones that didn't lose the most important person in my life at an early age.
Yeah. And the person sitting next to me, my wife here, has the same sort of things going on in her life. And
you're always reminded. You're always a cancer survivor.
Yep.
I think cancer survivors are so grateful for the hospitals that they can go to and the research that keeps continuing on. It's important to keep going, and going to the appointments isn't so bad. It's, waiting for results that it can be pretty bad. But
yeah.
And Duff, you've been involved with some of our beneficiaries, haven't you? Want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah. It's the word survivors is, it's everything. That's why we're here. We're trying to give everybody a chance to extend their days, and the professional hockey community is always touched by the young people that are affected by cancer. And, getting to know Andre the Warrior this past year as someone who was the face of our Hockey Fights Cancer Night, someone you guys know well, and Emmett Jakubowski, who's been involved for years, and I'm going to see here on Friday, who I just got a text from last week, which is so great. And they all, or most, I think, in this area, because this organization in particular does such a great job, most find themselves connected with Camp Good Days at some point in time. And that's where, I'm wearing the jacket one last time here. These were the gold blazers from our Sabres broadcast this year for the 50th season, and they're up for auction right now at sabres.com/auctions, and the bidding closes on Sunday. So we've been having playful banter all week long, trying to raise the bids and stuff. So this will be the last public appearance for the jacket, and then we'll see. There'll be a winner obviously on Sunday. RJ's kind of like, I think 3 or 4 times ahead of the rest of us. His jacket's already up over $1,000, which is amazing. Awesome. And everybody's picked their charity of choice. And for me, it's Camp Good Days, and it always has been. When we were season ticket holders living in Southern Ontario, and we started coming down to games here and couldn't use the tickets. The tickets would be redistributed to charitable organizations. That's how I found out about Camp Good Days. That's how I met Lisa there. That's how everything came to be as far as the connection with camp. And then we moved down here and immediately, became neighbors with a kid who had been going to camp since she was 2, and now she's in college, and she's a great inspiration as well, Ellie DeLucia. And so you don't have to look too far for inspiration around here.
Yeah. So Camp Good Days plays Make-A-Wish.
Mm-hmm.
Last year. How was that game? Have any highlights that you want to share?
I think they were X-rated. I'm still trying to find the guy that hit me. No, you know what? I thought it would be easy, but I was a little sore. Yeah, like it was only a 3-hour shift, but it was a little more than I. Yeah, well, I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, I'm not going to be tired. Like, but it did take its toll. Some of us just aren't blessed with the hockey gene to be able to play all the time. So.
Yeah, we went from our first community shift was 4 hours, and that was like you get to the third hour, you're like, oh, okay, I can do this. You get to the fourth hour, and you're ready to, have it be done. It's because most guys go out, most beer leaguers go out and they play for an hour and a half maybe. They have a couple of beers and whatever, coffee if you're playing in the morning, and then you're done. But 4 in a row, it's pretty tough.
And I have to say, I'm so proud to see the original members out there because firsthand the physical toll that it took on a lot of those players that first year and the length of time it took for them to recover, and thank goodness they did. And I'm sure they would do it again because of the experience and what it means to the soul. I mean, it's always with you. I mean, you give yourself to something like this in that original format.
Yeah.
We often say that they were the start. They laid the path out for the future community shift. They're
amazing.
An incredible group of guys. So it's perfect timing to be talking about the original 40 because we're going to share our documentary.
Beautiful.
In a few moments here. Anything you want to say about your experience before we share?
Well, I'll just say please watch the video if you're watching. It's pretty cool. It's about 15 minutes long. I think it captures what we've done, what we accomplished, and all the support that we got, whether it be sponsors or donors or our friends from Excelsior or the media around Buffalo who's so gracious. The alumni we'll talk about. Michael Pekka's here, and we'll talk to some of the alumni. We were talking about Dale Howardchuk, but the alumni, everybody helped to make that thing happen. So if you please watch the video, watch the documentary, it's rather enjoyable. Duff, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Good luck.
Thank you, Duff.
A group of Buffalo men are attempting to tackle the unthinkable.
Teams around this area, hockey is a 12-month sport, but most people don't commit to playing 11 days straight without leaving the ring.
Absolutely an incredible story.
Incredible. Hockey can be a pretty grueling sport, even for the pros in the best shape, but imagine playing for 11 straight days.
This is an awesome idea, but wow, what a challenge.
And that is a hardy bunch of people that are doing it right now in an attempt to set a Guinness World Record and to raise money for a great cause.
Non-stop charity hockey game raising $1 million for cancer research in Western New York.
$800,000 already with more expected, so they are well on their way.
They try to raise money for the fight against cancer.
We'll try to keep it as evenly matched as possible throughout this whole thing, please. Low numbers first. Put you guys in order here.
I've skydived. I worked on a fishing boat in Alaska. I've done a lot of crazy things, but I've never done anything like this.
I ran one marathon, which was grueling, there's no question, but to do something for 8 hours a day for 11 straight days is going to be, I think, over and above anything I've ever done.
Our players are not just selected because they're hockey players. Our players are selected because of their involvement with cancer and how they've been affected, either personally or a close relative. What drives them isn't the physical aspect of it, it's going to be more of the psychological aspect of it, and that's what's going to get them through as well as the camaraderie of their fellow teammates.
I do expect the guys to break the world record, and that's the perk in all this is the game, it's the world record. The most important thing is the funds that we're raising for Roswell Cancer Research.
When we're done with these 11 days, we're done. We can go back to our wives, our family.
And we're playing a game we love, and although it's, we've never done it for 11 straight days, we think about those people who have to go into the treatment centers and go into the chemo labs.
We just have to continue to think about why we're doing this and take care of each other, support each other, lift each other up, laugh a lot, and I think we're going to be all right.
Amy went through breast cancer treatment at Roswell in 2009. I started
thinking about ways to get back to Roswell. You know, it's a place that saved her life, so we thought, you know, let's try to do something to give back. I thought about doing something like a charity hockey game. It never really took legs. We were very busy. Amy was just getting through treatment, so it never really kind of took hold back then. We didn't really follow through with it. You know, fast forward to 2016, my mom had been diagnosed a couple years prior with cancer, so she ended up passing away May of 16.
That's when the idea came back, and it was even bigger and better, and we decided that we were going to try to raise $1 million for Roswell.
So we knew we were going to be doing a world's longest hockey game, but we didn't have a name, and we didn't have a brand, and we didn't have a logo. Crawley Webb and Clever Method just jumped right in and said, we'll do whatever you need to get this off the ground. They were so excited.
And we were treated just like a paying client would be. They couldn't have been more helpful.
You guys reached and agreed upon the 11-day power play. So, without further ado.
All right, we're excited to show you. This first one.
Every time we walked into the meeting room, whether it was the name or the logo, you could just see the excitement in their eyes. I mean, the amount of hours and money that was spent to help us get this off the ground is truly incredible.
We want to make it, you know, a community pride thing. So I think having the buffalo in there is probably an important part of it. It's always been one of the most important aspects of it, to make it a buffalo thing.
People are going to be wearing the apparel and proud, you know,
Yes.
and that would definitely signify that this is in Buffalo.
You know, every time I get in front of folks like you and you're putting your time and effort, I can't say thank you enough. It's been overwhelming when I talk to people, and people are so willing to help out. It's touching. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
It was nice to see you
Thank
again.
you. You know, I get goosebumps every time I think about it, every time we talk to people and they have ideas and they want to give their own time and energy and resources to make this thing a reality. It's been really overwhelming in a good way. You know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, Buffalo, since then we've come through quite a resurgence, and it just felt right. You know, with everything that was going on in Buffalo, Harbor Center, people wanted to be involved right from the start, and that was a really good feeling.
Arms all the way straight at the top. 7. Good, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right into it, next leg. Let's go.
The folks over at Impacts have been giving us some dry land training per se, kind of a boot camp, kicking our butts on a pretty regular basis.
Particularly Jason Jerome has done a really great job. He's taken it very seriously. We've had a lot of fun, but he's taken it very seriously.
Open up his doors for us and get us into shape for this big event.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We debated whether or not we were going to announce that we made the goal at opening ceremony, but it was we had to announce it. So
I didn't know the amount. He whispered that in my ear. I was so nervous about making sure that I said it in a way that made everybody excited.
You're at $800,000, just about. Apparently, we are at $1,017,000.
When people talk about cancer and finding a cure, they're extremely passionate about that. And then when people talk about hockey, they're passionate about that as well. So when you put those two elements together.
I don't know if you could pull this off in any town. I don't think it can be done anywhere. I really don't. I did not expect to see a full Harbor Center on opening night.
Crazy. I mean, you grow up here, I'm 47 years old, I've been listening to Rick Jenneret for years, right? Now you hear him calling your name and your buddies' names, that's wild.
That might have been a little bit of a mistake to be going as fast as we could, and we're in the first 24 hours here. So,
but I'm sure on Monday, when this place starts to empty out, it'll have an eerie presence to it.
Hurt everywhere right now. It hurts to stand on skates.
Physically tired, getting about 2 to 3 hours sleep a day.
An ambulance is showing up for IVs and all sorts of crazy injuries.
It is a difficult situation. Captain's log, The grind has taken its toll.
Got off the ice, feeling good, took a shower, and I just crashed. I got really depressed for no reason. Started to tear up. I don't know why.
My blood pressure crashed down, and I was getting readings of 86/60 for blood pressure. So at that shift, I was taken to the hospital.
You lay there in your bed, and you're just like, I don't know if I can do this today.
You know, guys were dropping out, and I was looking around thinking, are we going to really make this thing?
I went out, I think it might have been my 5th shift, got on, felt good. Within 5 minutes, I just went downhill. I disoriented, dizzy, couldn't think clearly. It just felt like I couldn't control my body. You know, basically I was sleep deprived, and I had, eventually I ended up going to the hospital with 103 temperature. I had to get stretched out of here, unfortunately, and ambulance ride there. I definitely had time to think it here, so I gotta sit here and lay in bed all day. It's, just trying to focus on getting healthy and getting better, and that's it, and just be positive.
That's great. Yes, that would be great. I'm sure the score has changed now that I have not yet updated it. I have to update the score on the website and the billboards. So all night, it doesn't necessarily get updated. I'm like, it's okay, it's in the 1200s. That's only a 2-digit scoreboard.
So every shift change. 8 a.m. our first volunteers come in, and we think it's important to make sure we walk around and introduce ourselves. Sarah, my event coordinator, and myself, just kind of making sure they're comfortable. Okay, so you guys all have been here already.
Yes.
Sweet. That means things are going to go smoothly. This event could never happen without volunteers. I mean, our team bench managers, that's probably the most crucial position, to make sure those guys are out there on time, ready for that puck to drop, ready to go, because that's Guinness's requirement.
We are recording everything. We have witnesses. All the referees are acting as witnesses. The security videos are time date stamped, so they're really the best evidence. And that's being downloaded every 24 hours and will be packaged up and sent to them.
You stop playing, you get 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes in 1 second, you get 10 minutes. So we were very clear with all the volunteers and the refs and the players, obviously. When there's a minute left, you're ready to go. Nobody said it was going to be easy.
Excelsior Orthopedics was amazing.
Yeah, they were rock stars.
Their preventative stuff that they did with their feet and their hands with the blisters.
Yep.
Halfway through, on day 6, they had already treated 2,000 blisters.
The experience of covering a single game and realizing that the single game gets repeated every 4 hours, that part of it has been overwhelming. But we're staying on top.
They were there 24/11. They were there the entire time. If someone came off at 2 a.m. and they had whatever ailment, they were there.
You guys are the best.
And after seeing what these guys are going through day in, day out, people are watching them on YouTube, and day 5, looking at them at 2 a.m. just to pop in and see how they're doing, and they're still playing. It's surreal that the game has never stopped.
Good morning. It is 2:43, the morning of the last day of the 11-day power play.
Just getting ready for the last shift. It's been one hell of a week. Come a long way.
This had so much more going on to it than just hockey.
People stopping in, just grabbing us and saying how much it means to them to see people out there battling and fighting for this cause.
You did it, brother. You did it. You did it. Sorry, boys. Oh, yeah. Love you guys.
I had a woman come up to me and she said, see those 2 kids in the crowd? Those are my kids, and I just got a call from Roswell and my cancer is gone. And I want to thank you guys for what you're doing.
We wanted to make this a Buffalo thing. World record, Buffalo.
I needed this event to slow things down in my life. It's been the perfect medicine for that.
Over $1 million in funds that will be used for research at Roswell Park. Hopefully we can save lives.
Every day we woke up and I kept saying I didn't want today to come, and we're here. We worked so hard. All these guys have worked so hard. We do believe in miracles.
I love every one of these guys. Just absolutely amazing people.
I'll have friendships from this that will last a lifetime.
Mike, I didn't see you much during these 11 days, but I'm so proud of you. I've never seen you so happy, out on that ice, smiling every second. You've actually changed life and saved lives for so many people. And I'm so thankful to be on this journey with you.
The one question I have is, why was 84 lumber not number 84?
Some of the stuff I hear them say to each other, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're really funny. They're a funny group of guys.
We got 4 hours of sleep last night. All I dreamed about, though, was playing hockey against the same guys I've been playing against for the last 7 days.
I'm gonna laugh for the rest of my life because I got to hang out with you. Holy cow.
I will never play hockey again. Someone snuck in Swedish fish. Today is one of my favorite days.
And since I've lost my mind, I'm now gonna leave. Thank you so much.
Brings back a lot of memories. My feet instantly go numb. Well,
Does it feel like 4 years ago?
Yeah, yeah. So what do you want to talk about now?
Well, you know, we're clearly not broadcasters. I mean, sometimes we get stuck. Sometimes we don't know what to say. So we have a plan. We have a Stuck Bucket, which is sponsored by Crawley Webb. And anytime we just get lost or don't know what to say, or, you know, we're going to pull out a question that somebody's asking us. So, Mike, what has kept you motivated to continue the 11-day power play for 4 years now?
Well, unfortunately, that's an easy question. Seems like every week, every month, we hear of somebody that's going through cancer, whether it be Dale Howardchuk, who we just found out died of cancer, former Buffalo Sabre, whether it be our own family. It's just constant reminder. And we're very fortunate, you know, we're very fortunate that we get to see the folks at Roswell and the research that they do, because we know that the money we raise is going to a very worthy cause. It's being used toward cures, toward treatments. We see it. We're able to see it. We're very lucky. We get to see kids at Camp Good Days. We get to see kids get their Make-A-Wish. And those, you know, if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. So we started this thing 5 years ago, thinking it was going to be a game, and kind of took over our lives a little bit, and hopefully it's going to do a lot of good for a long time.
What is your most memorable moment in the last 4 years?
In the last 4, regarding the event.
Mm-hmm.
If I go back to the original one, and I kind of was reminded as I watched that video, as there's obviously so many, but like as it counted down, and it went from an hour left to 30 minutes left to a minute left, and I was on the ice, and I had the puck at the very end, and I broke down a little bit because we just went through a pretty emotional thing. So like that moment is one of many. I can talk about 3 or 4 that are so poignant, but that one in particular sticks out.
I think my most memorable moment is, you know, so many of the, like in recent weeks, we've seen wishes. We've seen, kids at camp. We've talked to a family that, has had kids going to camp for numerous years, and it means so much to them.
Yeah.
I think all of those, there's really not a memorable moment. There's memorable moments.
Yeah,
and
there's so many.
Hopefully they keep coming because we can't stop. So we're gonna Strictly Hip here. It's our favorite.
I
It's
know.
our favorite band.
Yeah, when we were talking to Duff, we got to see the very last Tragically Hip show that they played in Kingston, Ontario, in their hometown, and Riverworks is an awesome place. They had a huge screen. A bunch of us came down and watched it. Super, super emotional. That's another, going back to your original question, you see stuff like that. You want, someone gets a glioblastoma diagnosis, it's unfortunately likely to be fatal. And maybe the money we raise someday will not have it a fatal diagnosis. So let's keep at it.
Well, let's check out Strictly Hip.
Let's do it.
Of the world becomes a gift, child. The pendulum swings for the horse like a man out over the rail. Is ice cream hell, the beautiful, the dangerous child. We get to feel small, but not out of place at all. We're boys to bed, but we're free to dream. All us human extras, all us herded beings. And after a glimpse over the top, the rest of the world becomes a gift. Child. I don't know what to believe. Sometimes I even forget. And if it's a lie, then terrorists made me say it. The beautiful, the dangerous child. We get to feel small from high up above. From high up above. High up above. High up above. From high up above. Ba 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 ba. space. Cold wind blowing over your private parts. I know what like I got, and it makes a song case for us. Live tonight. Live tonight. Live tonight. Live tonight. Shallow reform, romantic cloud. Shallow reform.
Tino?
Yep. I
What
got
else?
several.
What else?
Sick boy.
Sick boy.
Does that work? I don't know. Right?
I just call him dummy.
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
So we're here with Ryan Martin, one of our original 40 goalies who
Yep.
braved 4 years ago at
Abs-
Harbor Center.
Absolutely. It's been 4 years.
It's been 4 years.
Seems like yesterday, right?
Would you do it again?
I would. Yeah, the crazy part of me would, yeah, for sure. You know, you got to be a little couple marbles loose to do it again, but it was a great time.
Well,
It's
don't
awesome.
get so far ahead of ourselves. I
I
think
know.
we should. We have a pretty interesting history because I feel like I've known you forever. I love you like a brother, and we've only known each other about 4 years. And why don't you just? I think it would be more interesting if you told the story of the night we first met and how it started, how it ended.
So, well, some people know that Sarah's my sister-in-law, so I got invited.
Sarah, event manager.
Event manager, I'm sorry. And she invited me to the party to, come meet you guys with no intention of ever actually, actually doing it. And once we got to talk, I told you my story.
Which is, would you like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my friend Matt Corsini passed away at a very young age of 21. He left behind a 2-year-old son at the time, and it was very, very, very heart-wrenching to me. And I never really actually did anything. He passed away, and I grieved, and it was always in the back of my mind. And meeting you guys gave me a platform to truly, commit myself to giving back to cancer. You know what I mean? Actually doing something. Putting work in and actually, doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and especially through the sport of hockey, it was absolute perfect fit. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that night it was actually a launch party at Thin Man, and we were talking, and you told us a little bit about your friend, and then we, I'm sure we hugged, but
yeah, I think so.
And I said, "Would you be interested in playing?" And you went, "Absolutely."
Yeah. Two
I'm
questions.
I'm like, "All right, you're in."
Yeah.
So that right there and then we knew it was a good fit for you guys with us, and we clicked personally, and it was awesome. So
absolutely.
Ever since then, we've been teammates and brothers, and that's kind of how it started, which was pretty cool.
You try not to be too hard on me, right?
We should probably
we'll keep it G-rated.
We should probably tell people why you're sweating right now. So
yes.
Ryan
Do you want me to explain what happened? there was no communication at all as far as what goalies are doing. So I showed up in my gear, just ready to play goalie. So, but I used to play roller hockey a lot, so I'm kind of used to it. But
so you just finished the first shift.
Yeah, the first shift.
2020 11-day power play, big save.
Yeah, I made a couple of big saves. A little bit, not really.
Well, Ryan and I played the other night. I'm not going to say you made any big saves that night. Well, maybe one.
Oh, I haven't played in 6 months. Come on, you got to give me a break.
In all seriousness, though, we nobody thought we were ever going to be playing ball hockey, but the fact that we're out here, we're super proud.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to be proud of it and the work to go into it, especially with the situation in this year. Everybody's been throwing a big challenge this year as far as anything in life. So for you guys to actually put this on, still move forward with it, still hit $1 million goal is just absolutely incredible, and it's really a testament to what you guys are doing for the community. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, all
glad to be a
because
part of it.
guys like yourself that are committed to it.
Yeah,
It's not just us; it's all these guys.
Sure.
And all the support that we have. So
absolutely,
it means a lot for you guys to be here. You know, we're gonna be friends for life, and
absolutely.
it's always great to see everybody.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, it's amazing. It's always good times.
Can we talk about the original event a little bit?
Sure, absolutely.
So, Ryan, I can't remember what day it was. I just know that
Betcha he knows.
You went down. you were not feeling well.
Yeah.
Before we knew it, you were going to the hospital.
Yeah, it was extremely frustrating. I'm not gonna lie, and obviously you guys know I trained insanely hard to make sure I was in top shape when I went into the event. I was one of the youngest guys in the event, probably one of the best in shape in the event, and you could see just, you know, when your body is put through those motions, what it can do to you, and it could happen really fast. Luckily, I was back on in 2 days, and we had some really, really incredible people that just stepped in and took my place and did what they had to do, and they didn't whine or complain about it. They just did it and got it done. Drew Case, that's my boy, Drew Case. So
yeah.
Well, people just saw the documentary. So
we just watched the documentary. We talked a little bit about it. You were in quarantine.
Yeah.
How ironic is that?
Yeah.
You got a head start on that for us.
Oh my God. Brutal.
Yeah, but as you said, during that event, we couldn't swap out players, so there was 20 on a side,
right,
and yourself. And actually, we had another player go down. So at one point, there was a couple players down, and the Team White really stepped it up, and everybody took each other, got each other's back, and had to step it up. So it was pretty special.
The first weekend was interesting because it was then myself, Fogarty, and then you were like, oh boys, is something else going to happen? We really you couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? I mean, one guy on each team was just tough enough. So, but we figured out a way. You know what I mean? And that's all that really matters at the end of the day. We did what we had to do, and we made it work. So
I remember about the third day, things were getting pretty dicey, and people were getting tired,
bodies
and cramps,
feeling it,
and there was some crazy stuff going on. And then day 4 and day 5, and then midway,
it's the hump. That hump.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah. We probably hit somewhat midway, and we hit that hump, and it was just like it was smooth sailing. We were having fun, things were going well.
Yeah.
It was a good time. So.
Yeah, it was definitely took a while to get there.
Yeah.
We have friends. Hopefully, going to talk to him later in the week. A friend from Edmonton, his name is Brent Sake, and Brent's done this. I think they've done it 7 times now, and they do. He started this back in I want to say it's 2000 or 2001, the first time they did it, and they do it in February,
right,
on an outdoor rink in Edmonton, Alberta. So, we did it at the Harbor Center, which is difficult. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But seeing those guys do it, it's really impressive.
We didn't have. I mean, the outdoor aspect. Certainly, I would throw some challenges your way, but I guess we could do it here, right? Right here in the middle of winter.
We'll see.
Feeling the winter air come off the lake there. It would be pretty brutal.
Teaser alert.
All right. We'll see.
Know.
Oh boy.
You never know.
All right.
So Ryan, thank you so much for stopping in. And
absolutely.
Being a
Thank you for having me.
Always be a part of our family, and
absolutely.
We really appreciate you
Sounds
taking
good.
some time after your
I appreciate you guys.
hard shift.
Yep.
You and I are going to play. This game goes on for about an hour. You're going to stick around. We're going to go out and have some fun.
Yeah.
Just the crew.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. Thanks, man.
Thank you, sir. Yep.
Thank you.
Love you, kid.
So, Strictly Hips on a break.
Yeah. Yeah. I see John Dolendorf. John's a big supporter through his company, Roy's Plumbing.
And now we're going to see what Jickster's up to.
What do you got, Chicks? I think he's going to make some player intros for us.
Here he goes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third annual 11-day power play here live at Buffalo Riverworks. If you'll please direct your attention toward the concrete surface this year, I would like to introduce the two teams here. The original 11-day power play white team, playing for 11 days 3 years ago and setting a world record and raising over $1.3 million for cancer research. Please welcome the 11-day white team, starting with number 13, Jeff Haynes. Please welcome playing offense number 17, Bill Chef Lucas. Wearing number 22 tonight, please welcome Mike Sullivan. Wearing number 29, Justin Earig. On the white team, wearing number 34, please give it up for Tom Fogarty. Playing goalie, a gold medalist in Lake Placid in 11-day power play all-star goalie, wearing number 35, Mike Marino. Please welcome to the concrete, wearing number 40, Matt Balling. Wearing number 43, please welcome Larry Ralph. Please welcome to the concrete, wearing number 71, John Bruno. And please welcome the shortest but most adorable 11-day power play member, wearing number 85, you gotta look down, but he's fast, Henny Court. And also playing tonight, David Hodge. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of the top fundraising teams playing against the 11-day power play white team. These guys raised over $43,554. Please welcome to the concrete, Pat Valentine. Vittorio Bugni. Vinny Pasternastro. Jonathan Chef Lucas. Ray Miller. Todd Hensler. John McCartney. Mike Surdick. John Dalendorf. And Mike Coleman, $43,554. Bill Holden, thank you. Now let's play some hockey. tournament. My line mates all laugh.
That you were able to take time out of your busy day and be here tonight for our opening.
I'm thrilled. This is my most favorite event of all times is the 11-day power play. So a little bit different this year, you know, in the middle of COVID, but you know, it's special nonetheless. It's amazing what you guys have done this year.
Well, thanks for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I'm excited to talk to you about the recent news that Roswell Park was ranked number 14th in cancer care hospitals across the United States. How does that feel?
I know, it's so amazing. You know, last year we were ranked 14th. And, you know, you can't apply for this. It's not like you fill out a form and then they just decide who's who. They grab from databases. Some of it we know, some of it we don't, but they grab databases from all kinds of metrics from for cancer hospitals. And you just got to hope that your quality is good enough. You're having fun of it. You got to hope that you know, that you are measuring up. And you just have to just keep your head down and do the best job that you can. So last year we were 14th. We were thrilled with that because we moved up from 35, something like that. So, you know, you always think to yourself, was it a fluke? Did we really belong in that elite group? Which it is an elite group because, you know, the only other center in New York State that was better than us, all those big places, fancy places in Manhattan, was Memorial Sloan Kettering, which is a great big, you know, they're ranked number 2. So we're so proud. This year we were again 14. Funny that we were the same number because totally different data, totally different things. But what it says is we belong there. We belong, and they'd even changed some of the metrics that they measured us by. So we were a little worried, but we not only belong there, but we're just thrilled. It's a testament to the whole team of doctors and staff, everyone involved. It's not just, you know, I have very little to do with it, quite honestly. And so, but it's proud for New York and for all of us.
I mean, I've always said that having Roswell Park in our backyard is just such a blessing. And, you know, obviously 11 years almost, it's been 11 years that, you know, I was treated there as a patient, and knowing that I could walk out my door and be treated right in my backyard was just amazing. So I'm so glad that, you know, the care and everything that's going on is just still incredible there. I do want to talk a little bit about the importance of the funds that, you know, our players raise and they work so hard for, and we just hit $1 million tonight, right before puck drop.
I can't believe it. You know, in the middle of all of this, it just shows the testament of you and Mike and what this event means to people, and the incredible people that every year come out for this event. And they're not even skating this year. So, wow. It's really amazing.
1,300 players came out or are coming out in the next 11 days. So we're excited to greet them.
And you know, the money that's raised by the 11-day goes for such incredible, innovative therapies and treatments for patients. And one of them is the brain tumor vaccine, the Mimivax Survaxin, and it's a brain tumors, you know, you hear the word that somebody has a brain tumor and you think, oh my goodness, you know, they just have months to live. And so it's a very difficult situation, a very difficult tumor to treat. And this is a vaccine approach which works using your own immune system and actually has shown remarkable results in early phase studies that have been done with it. So much so that it's now the trial, and this was totally funded by funds from the 11-day power play, is now it's going to go around to 20 different cancer centers around the country and expanding the trial. And hopefully at the end of that trial, we hope if the results go as we hope they do, that then this would be an approved therapy. And think about that, an approved therapy to treat brain tumors that was funded by the 11-day.
By our community.
By our community, exactly.
It's really amazing.
It's really amazing.
So this year, Roswell Park established the COVID response
Yes.
fund. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what that is and how it's helped. And $150,000 was donated from the 11-day power play, our own players.
I know. It was,
So
it was
maybe you could
remarkable. So, COVID, we're still in the middle of it, knock on some wood. We hope that we're going to keep our numbers down here in Western New York. But COVID is, and you may think, oh, geez, why would a cancer center be involved in COVID? COVID the immune system is such a big part of our study in finding new treatments for cancer. And COVID, when someone has to be put in the ICU and be put on a ventilator, the reason for that is you have an immune storm that's going on in your lungs in response to this virus infection. And you can't breathe. And it's the sort of the accumulation of all of your immune system fighting each other to cause this. And we know a lot about the immune system, and we know a lot about that immunologic storm. Cancer centers around the country have played a really important role in the fight against COVID. And so we've been fortunate that we didn't have as many cancer patients with COVID, but the COVID Relief Fund helps to fund an initiative. Just one of the initiatives is we're collecting samples. These guys are having too much fun. We're collecting samples from COVID cancer patients, and we're looking at particular markers that they may have depending on their course. Many people have a mild form of COVID. Some people get really sick, feel lousy like the flu. Other people end up in the ICU. And so looking at those little immunological markers in patients that have different outcomes, we'll be able to learn a lot and be able hopefully to predict your COVID experience is going to be a mild one versus you need to be careful because you're prone to go in and have this immunologic storm in your lungs. So very exciting. And we couldn't have done that without those funds that helped to really form the basis for putting that study together.
It's incredible.
It is. It's exciting.
So, treatment for patients is so important at Roswell for any
Yes.
cancer patient. I mean, they are just very compromised and they, cancer doesn't stop, right? So
Does not stop.
What has Roswell done this year to really, change things, maybe encourage patients to come in for their regular testing?
Yeah, it's been very difficult. We all were terrified when the governor sort of shut the state down in the middle of March. We sort of sent people home. We couldn't, we had cancer patients to take care of. We had people coming in to see us. You can't turn them away. People were scared. Physicians were scared. Nurses were scared. What we had to do is we had to create a very safe environment for our patients and for our physicians and nurses and staff so that they felt comfortable coming to work. So testing was absolutely critical and getting test results quickly so we could test a patient, determine they're negative, sort of put people's mind at ease and enable them to get the care that they needed. And slowly but surely, we have developed that feeling of, quote, trust so that patients can come, because we were so worried that we would have patients that would delay their treatments and come to us with advanced disease where we couldn't do as much for them. So we've really been very successful in getting our patients back, and actually we're back to our pre-COVID levels of outpatients and even inpatients. So we've been, knock on something again, we've been doing it safely.
Incredible. I think that's important for patients to know in the
It is.
community. Don't stop your treatment. Still
No.
continue to come to Roswell. They have precautions in place. I know when I was there a couple weeks ago, I was temped. I was asked questions.
Yes.
I felt very secure and safe. And a mask was offered to me and anything else that I may have needed. So I did appreciate that. So going back to hockey.
Yes.
Are you a hockey fan?
I'm a huge hockey fan. I've been watching. It was so funny when that first hockey game was on TV. I mean, you could almost hear it in your neighborhoods because everybody was so thirsty to watch hockey. I'm just disappointed the Sabres aren't in it. Would have been nice.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing like where you're from and
Yeah.
why you went into the field that you're in?
I grew up in Central Ohio, and I tell this story. I always wanted to be a ballerina. I was a dancer, and my father was one of those I'm not sending you to school to be a dancer. What are you going to do? You're not that talented, which I wasn't, to be like on the stage or something. And so he said, you got to go to school. You got to have a purpose, Candice. And I was very good in math and science. You know, I might have had this little artsy, creative side to me. I think it's made me a better scientist. But so I went into science, math. I loved math, and it sort of took me on a path to where I am today. I think that one of the things is I'm like a crazy person to figure stuff out, and so I always wanted answers. And so when you're in my business, there's always things that you need to find the answer to, and so I was geared towards all of that. I went to The Ohio State University in Columbus, a great place to go to college because football program's really good. Their hockey team's pretty good too. College hockey is great. The Big Ten college hockey was really fun too. So, and then I went, you know, when you finish your training, you have to go to places and learn. So I was in Detroit for about 4 years, and then I was at the University of Colorado for 8 years, and then I came to the University of Pittsburgh for 12 years, and I've been here for 18 years. So,
wow. Well,
yeah.
we're happy you're here.
Well, I'm delighted to hear. I'm not going anywhere else.
And congratulations on all the lists that top women.
Oh, thank you.
In Western New York,
Thank
and
you.
you're just doing a phenomenal job
Well,
at Roswell.
I'm very proud of that, and it's one of the fun things that I do when I talk to young women that just need some encouragement. You can have your dreams. You can do what. I mean, you're a very empowered woman, and you've achieved much. So you should be very proud of yourself too.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. And
Thank you.
I think we should check out the game a little bit.
I think we should.
Or Strictly Hip.
Yes.
Do you like Strictly Hip? Have you ever?
I have not.
Play. Everything's bleak, middle of the night. You're all alone and the dummies might be right. Feeling like a jerk. My music at work. My music at work. Avoid trends and cliches. No time left today. When the sunlight hits the olive oil, don't hesitate. Life so long hurts. My music at work. On a symbol too far, anatomy of a state, to determine where you are. Sink full of Candice, I remain. No matter what you heard, my music at work, my music at work, my music at work. I call out of the waves in a crowd that entertains. An impossibility showing some restraint. The rain came down berserk. My music at work. My music at work. On a star beyond the chart. Dark side of the rain. To determine where you are. Sink full of Candice, I remain. The rain came down berserk. My music at work. My music at work. Music at work. Oh yeah. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Everything is bleak, it's middle of the night. You're all alone and the dummies might be right. Outside the darkness lurks, my music at work. My music at work, in the middle of the earth. My music at work, the rain came down with her. My music at work, down the bed without dessert. My music at work, my music at work, my music at work. What's troubling you? You sound demented. Is it because someone talked and he told me he no longer thinks everything that moves and everything he sees something to kill and eat? What's troubling God? Then nothing goes quiet. The whippoorwill at dawn. What's troubling us over here? starts when a heartbeat's pounding. When the birds and bees heard about the reckoning, Archduke's on an accountant. Lava flowing super farmer's direction. He's been getting reprieve from the heat, frozen food section. Yeah. Don't tell me what the poets are doing. Don't tell me that they're talking tough. Don't tell me that they're anti-social. Somehow not anti-social enough. That's right.
Pat Coletta, Jay McKee, and Marty Baran, each with a foursome for some top fundraisers. We raised a lot of money, and we had a lot of fun. So take a look. Take a look at the video. So we. First of all, thank you. Most importantly, the 2 weeks that we put this on, we raised over $47,000. This group, the people that are here, raised over $25,000 in 2 weeks. So that's crazy. It's unbelievable. So thank you for that. Michael Pekka, Pat Coletta, Marty Baran, Jay McKee. These guys are going to be the team captains. A couple of you get stuck with me. These guys drafted, so they'll call out your team names.
I'm going to start. So Mike and Nick Carl. And John Dolendorf, hopefully I pronounced that right.
I got Mike Surdick, the ringer, the long driver, Dave Kaplan, and nothing but a good putter, Sean Gardner.
I got Todd, Robert, and Nick. Where you guys at?
Awesome.
Bill Chef Lucas.
Very good.
Which he had to be the last pick. He had to be. Greg Belliot. And John McCarthy.
We're going to play a kind of a classic scramble, hit the ball, play the best ball.
I didn't smile on that one, do it again.
You guys, we really appreciate the fact that you chose this course today. There's a lot of courses in Western New York, so we are very happy to have you and host you here today. After these guys hit, you guys can play away and have fun.
Perfect weather. Off. Edit that.
Is that a mic?
Don't say anything stupid. Too late. If it don't feel right. Don't start feeling guilty until you lose your third ball because you got 3 for free. Hey, it's closest to the pin.
If I were to guess today, Team Pekka is for sure going to get the W. He takes golf to a whole nother level of seriousness. Marty, he's got to be horrible. Jay, he's worried about just making fun of my short shorts. And myself, I haven't golfed much, so Pex has definitely got the upper hand here.
Go! Oh, yeah! Carter's closest to the pin as we speak. Ready. Woo-hoo-hoo! Still winning, baby. All right.
I'm going for the drive.
I don't know which one's which, but they're close enough.
It is closer. I was thinking about going first. You're the guinea pig.
official score. Put it in. Here, get the swing just going. Yep.
I didn't want to hit the roll, right? And so I decided to keep it low. Oh no! Oh no! Crowd pleaser. You go ahead, and I don't want the pressure. You're gonna make it. We're all counting on you. Maybe you guys should golf as lefties. That's what the problem is. We are playing golf for the 11-day power play. This is the closest to the pin. Did a little fun fundraiser, and the top 12 fundraisers get to play with me, McKee, Pekka, and Coletta, and we're having a lot of fun. We're finding marshmallows on the golf course, which are confusing me. I'm going to marshmallows instead of my golf ball, but that's okay. We're having a ton of fun, and it's just a fabulous start to this day, and it's going to be even better when we start making birdies. Well, you want to see us make something good. You don't want to see us miss putts, and this is like putt-putt when you go to the 18th hole and you got to go up the hill. Get it. Telling you, that camera guy keeps blowing up my ball so it moves to the left at the very end. And he keeps it blowing over.
Golf is the greatest platform to get to know people. You really get to see who abuses alcohol more than others on a golf course. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see you there.
Hey!
It's great for us to be out here and play, but it's even more amazing to see the same people on the top of that fundraising list. You know, so hats off to them.
This is longest drive with hockey gloves on. Yeah, Bill, you're gonna win this.
Good. I haven't hit a ball straight in a while. So.
Okay, you do see that there's some people laying out over here, right? And you've got gloves on me. This could be dangerous. You know, raising money for the 11-day power play, just an exceptional event. Actually isn't bad. Out here playing golf with some good people and raising awareness and money. There's really no better way you could do it right now.
Do we have to hit with the hockey gloves?
Yeah, it's like an Alexei Zhitnik shot. You have no idea where it's gonna go.
Just a little wide.
A little wide, a little high. A lot of good shots and a lot of bad shots, but that's usually how golfers like us are.
It's not that bad. I love it, Mom. It wasn't a bad shot.
Let's go. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Oh, baby! Something tells me this is not going to be very long. That was actually decent.
These are definitely not lacrosse gloves. I did.
It's gonna hit that
I went over the house.
You guys should see the gloves Darcy actually made me wear. Shot blockers. You'd be like, no wonder why this guy didn't score goals. We got a decent one out there?
Yeah, we do.
Crushed one.
I might take those with me.
Bring those with us.
Up to Edmonton.
Trying to pick up my tee. Trying to pick up my tee with the gloves on.
I'll be okay.
It's a practice swing.
Erase that. Oh!
Oh, I'm in the water.
I did. It's on the right side of the fairway. Okay, we gotta use my drive still at some point.
Par 3 will use it.
Really? Pull the driver out?
Pull the driver out.
It's a cause that is close to me because of hockey, but it's also personal for me, you know, with people dealing with cancer. And if you can be around a group of guys like this, raise that money and help people at the same time, it's one of the coolest things I think to be a part of in the area. Hey, I laid into it, you know? I saved the anger from punching you in the face last hole, threw it in my driver. You get a slow-mo on the shorts? Yeah, you like that? Little, oh, tan line.
Keep going. Keep going.
I don't know if you see that big pile of grass there. You could sod half the neighborhood over there.
kind of due for a hole-in-one, no? Actually, I don't play much golf, but still due for a hole-in-one.
There it is.
Turn. Yep, still overdue for a hole-in-one. All right.
Oh, look at this kid. Oh, yeah. There boy, Greg. Hard. I made a short putt and a chip.
Almost eagled 18 to have the outright win. We're just kind of waiting on what's coming in behind us, but it'd be nice to go out there in a playoff and to determine a winner.
Apparently, he was throwing darts at the holes all day, but his putting has been very suspect, so let's see. He's got the shortest shorts on the course right now, and this is not anywhere near the hole. Sorry, Kalata. Let me right here. Look at this. Closest to my hand. There it is. I got it.
Team Coletta is number 1.
So, Michael Pekka, thanks for joining us.
Good to be on, man.
So we just got a chance to watch our golf video, and the question I have is, will Pat Coletta ever let you forget that he just beat you in a round of golf?
Well, he didn't beat me in a round of golf. His team beat our team. And I didn't even do the putt off with my own putter because I didn't even know we were doing it. But, that's not what it's all about anyways. But
Yeah.
it was such a fun day. Obviously, watching that video back, it's a lot of fun to watch it.
Yeah, and thank you to yourself and to Patty, to Jay and Marty. It said it in the video, but that just a 2-week period leading up to that event, we raised $47,000, which is just an unbelievable amount in a short amount of time, given everything that's going on. So,
and I tell you what, the amazing thing is, all the guys that were playing golf that day, we're all here tonight.
Yep.
And building the most money in donations, which is. Kudos to those guys, man.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Some of these guys have raised just a crazy amount of money in a few years. So before we get into the 11-day a little bit, you and I have known each other for quite a long time. And just as a little background, we met, you were in your we were both, I was a little older than you, but in our 20s. You had just come to Buffalo. You started dating a girl named Kristen. Turns out Kristen had a friend named Amy, and you guys ended up being married. And it's been fun. I got to watch you when you were playing in Buffalo, and then, as you guys moved around, and always lived here, and our kids are really close, and it's been a lot of fun, and you guys are back, and now we watch a golf thing, and our boys just went out golfing together the other day, so it's been fun, and now we get to do this type of stuff, and yourself as an alumni and part of the Buffalo community, it really means a lot to help out with this, so thank you, and. You were originally going to play in our event. You had an injury that precluded you from doing it, but you want to just, what's your memories of going back to 16, 17 when we started doing that event, and maybe talk about why you were involved and who you were playing for?
I think just initially, I remember when you mentioned it to me. I think anytime anybody ever approaches you with something, right away whether it's a great idea or not, and the way you just presented it, the passion, everything. You knew it was going to be a great event. Obviously, there's an emotional attachment to it, with what Amy went through, your mom went through, and involved the sport that you and I love dearly. It's in both our families. So it's easy to really get behind and start, being a part of the creative process at the start. And I just think you and Amy had such a good team and built such a wonderful group of partners to help build that thing that first year. I was blown away. Even after seeing guys like Dan Downing and some of these guys, how they're hurting a little bit, Jixter, Alan Davis, they stuck it out. I think the reason they stick it out, not to compare the two, but if you think of guys, the military guys, when they're hurting, they go through it because there's an emotional. It means something to them. So, so they really push through it.
Right.
That event meant so much to all those guys.
Right.
That they weren't going to fail anybody.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the great thing is about our sport of hockey is when you're on good teams, as a teammate, you never want to let your team down. And they
Right.
knew that, look, I made a commitment, and I want to do that. And I knew that with some of my injuries, I didn't know what my commitment was going to be able to finish. But I think had I done it, and I kind of wish in retrospect I did, because having seen those guys push through what they've gone through that event, I think it would have been easy. I think it would have been inspired. You get inspired by what these guys do. It was just amazing.
Believe it or not, it was easier than you'd think. It wasn't easy, but it's like if you're driven, like you said, with the passion, it's actually not that difficult if you just put it behind you, the physical part.
Yeah.
You know, when you were talking about that, one of the interesting things that probably most people don't know is the reason that I selected or talked to and got involved with some of the people that ended up playing in it was because of the passion. And the reason I knew that was I had talked to you about a guy named Brent Sake. And I said, do you happen to know Brent Sake? He's from Edmonton. And you said, yeah, he's a doctor with the Edmonton Oilers. And Brent Sake has done 6 or 7 world record events. They've raised over $10 million, all for cancer research and pediatric cancer research. And you actually you gave me his contact. And one day I was driving home from work, and this is in like end of 16, and I called Brent Sake out of the blue. And I said, hey, Brent, you don't know me. My name is Mike Lesikowski. I got your number from Mike Pekka. I want to do the world's longest hockey game and beat your world record. And I thought he was going to be kind of mad about it or like not wanting to do it. And the first thing he said was, how can I help? How can I help? This guy never met me, picked up his phone on a Friday afternoon. He's a doctor. And I thought that was so cool because from that moment, and then there's another group in Alberta, Calgary, they wanted, like, because of the cause, they wanted to help. We had conference calls with them, and we had talked about coming to each other's events, and we actually formed a friendship, and you had made that introduction. I don't think a lot of people knew that. And it speaks to the hockey world, like hockey players.
I mean, the fraternity of just people in the hockey world. Doesn't matter what level or where you live or where you're from. Hockey's hockey, and you live it. And the funny thing about Dr. Sake was, I was that spring. So I was in Edmonton at a playoff game. They were playing. I can't remember who Edmonton was playing, and I remember running into him. So him and a friend of his are the guys at Oilers games that wear the orange. One guy wears an orange suit, the other guy wears the royal blue suit. And I remember mentioning it to him, and we were talking about it. He goes, yeah, I can't wait. Help with anything the guys need. And he goes, and then we're going to turn around and break the record the next year.
Exactly,
so,
and they did. And
I
they did.
mean, it's just it's just cool to see people really, step up and help out, and that just goes to the hockey community. I think it's a really tight-knit group.
Yeah, and then going back to like you guys after the original event, it became a community shift, and similar to the golf, people in Buffalo, they love the Sabres, they love the alumni. They're and the guys like yourself get involved with the city, and people love that, right? So like when we did the community event, yourself and guys like Patty and Jay McKee, Danny Gare, Marty Baran, Jeff Peters, Andrew Peters, like those guys all came and they're like, yeah, let's play. And the guys and girls that raise money, they wanted to do it for the cause, but it's really cool for them to get to play with their childhood or their Buffalo Sabres. So having you guys involved, and Buffalo is the perfect city for it because of that. So I think that really adds to the event, and you guys have been involved ever since. And I couldn't thank you more because it's really it adds to our event a lot, and I think it's really helped people to want to fundraise not only for the cause but to play with guys like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, obviously moving around and playing a lot of different cities. You get to meet a lot of great people, but I think Buffalo, and it's the reason why we still live here and a lot of people stay in Buffalo, is Buffalo epitomizes what a community stands for. People will do anything for each other. It's the greatest community to find, wonderful people that love to give back to their city, blue-collar mentality, and I loved it. I mean, playing with Jixter on the 97 Rock team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so much fun, and the rivalry we've built up with the Queen City Squirrels.
Mark's listening.
Yeah, so I mean, all that stuff is just so much fun. And, it's funny when you go through those games in the community shift, how fast that 4 hours goes by because you're having so much fun. So
any particular memories from any of the shifts? I remember we wrapped the net one time.
I think my greatest memory, which I think I'm comfortable saying it on here, is watching a goalie on his knees puke through his mask. Was a wonderful visual of the commitment guys had. I think that was like the 1 a.m. shift or somewhere around there. But you know what? It's literally just seeing, and I'm talking more on the community shift side, just seeing how the diversity of the people involved, the young kids and the older people, and the boys and the girls, the men and the women. There's everybody's included. Yep. Everybody takes part in it. Everybody loves being a part of it. And I mean, kudos to you and Amy. You've pulled off an event that is going to live on and be remembered for an awfully long time.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you very much, Michael. It's been a great to have you. We're going to hopefully do this for many years to come. And right now we're going to go to a little video about some of the wonderful people that have raised money for us.
Today we are volunteering to deliver yard signs to some of the biggest supporters for the power play.
We had 20 volunteers come today to help us get these lawn signs all over Western New York.
So I got 14 signs, and certainly hopefully I'll be able to connect with a few people.
I'm hoping that people will be surprised when they wake up this morning and see the signs.
Our lawn signs were being placed today to show them the love that we have for them. They work so hard all year fundraising. We could not do the event and raise this much money for cancer in our local community without the support of our players, our sponsors, and our original 40 guys.
Putting signs on lawns and handing out hockey sticks. I like it.
One original 41 sponsor, West Power Play.
Well, their names should be right in order.
Gotta load these.
So a lot of our volunteers, they all have been touched by cancer in so many ways.
They're volunteering to a great cause, to help find a cure for cancer. And I should know because I'm a survivor.
It would have been my 17th wedding anniversary with my late wife. So we battled 3 different breast cancers throughout our journey. And I couldn't think of a better way to support Amy and Mike in the 11-day power play and everybody that is a part of it and what they do.
My husband and I sponsored 2 teams in the 11-day power play in honor of our son Jason, who we lost when he was 21 years old. This was an incredible opportunity for us to honor him. The cause of the 11-day power play just fits so beautifully into what he would want us to be doing.
I'm glad to give some of my time to a great cause that can help a lot of people in the end.
I mean, it's the power of giving, the energy that it creates, it just multiplies throughout the community.
They just couldn't wait to help share the love, the 11-day love throughout the community. How fun was that? We delivered probably, I think, 360 lawn signs all over Western New York.
Yeah, it was a gorgeous day too. It was great.
And we couldn't have done it without the 20 volunteers. I think it was 20 volunteers that came out. What a great way for us to see people. They were pulling in their cars, and we were throwing those lawn signs in the trunk, and they were off. And it was just, split seconds that we saw them, but it was great to see them.
Yeah, and of course everybody put pictures of their signs and all over social media. It was really fun to see.
Yeah.
Changing topic, as most people know, Amy is a cancer survivor, and I think a lot of people were angels in this whole process of your treatment and your survivorship. And one of them in particular, I think we'll talk about. Want to reveal who that is?
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I was able to sit down with about 18 doctors at Roswell Park and talk about the type of cancer that they treat, the research, the progress in treatment in general, and it was amazing. But I got to sit down with Dr. Levine, my oncologist, and we had never been in a situation where we were not talking about my cancer. So I asked him, I interviewed him about breast cancer. I really wanted people to know, what are the signs and symptoms? What can you do to prevent? How important is it to go for a mammogram? But at the end, I asked him a question. So we can see the interview.
I'm interested to hear it.
Dr. Levine, it's so wonderful for you to be here today.
Great to be here, Amy.
If you could just start by telling us who you are and where you're from and why you do what you do.
So I'm actually from Western Pennsylvania. I did a lot of my schooling in the Midwest, but I came back here actually to be closer to my family, at least within driving distance. So I ended up in Buffalo. And believe it or not, I've been at the Institute for about 3 decades now. So I came and never left. So breast cancer is not what I actually started doing when I graduated into being a cancer specialist. I was a leukemia and lymphoma doctor for a while. That field started becoming very involved with transplantation, which at its origins was just, I just saw the most horrible deaths for people who were transplanted with graft versus host disease and cytomegalovirus infection, et cetera. And I really did not enjoy it, so I changed my field entirely and went into breast cancer, a decision I don't regret, obviously 30 years later. So that's how it came to be. And I moved from the University of Minnesota, which is where I started to make that transition, to here to, again, be closer to my family.
So Dr. Levine, what is breast cancer?
So if I knew that exactly, I'd be collecting my Nobel Prize money. So we still don't know the origins of most breast cancers. There's probably environmental issues involved. I suspect there's some very complex genetic issues involved. We know that 5% of breast cancers are involved with one or a single hereditary gene in women who are unfortunate enough to have those. But they're certainly the minority of women who present to our clinic with breast cancer. So we still don't have a good understanding of where it derives from, but it is terribly common. About 1 in 8 women during their lifetime will get breast cancer. I think what is not fully appreciated, it's really a disease of aging. You know, we put a lot of emotional investment in young women who have breast cancer because it's unusual and there's so much of a potential for many years of life lost if the cancer is quite advanced at diagnosis. Although getting breast cancer below the age of 50 is really quite unusual. So it's a disease of the postmenopause where it becomes much more common. And usually in the modern era it's caught quite early. So I guess what I want to reinforce is getting a diagnosis of breast cancer is by no means a death sentence. Most women are cured of that disease, as frightening as it is. They become cancer survivors and hopefully live a very normal and happy life.
What are some, important things for women to do to, catch breast cancer at an early stage?
So that is more controversial than you realize. So you would think that doing breast exams, a woman doing self-breast exams would be helpful. It is not terribly helpful, actually. Women's breasts can be very heterogeneous and they can mistake heterogeneity for something being wrong. So it causes a lot of angst and a lot of panic, and most of the time, almost all the time, nothing is actually wrong. So self-breast exams have not been very helpful. And I think we're going to discuss at some length what the role of screening is, which has itself become very controversial in certain age groups. So I think women have to be aware of their family history. A couple generations ago, it was kind of not popular to discuss among family members that grandmother or grandfather had cancer. But I think knowing your family history is very important because the women who do get breast cancer at an early age tend to either have ovarian cancer in the family or they have multiple members with breast cancer. And they're the ones who really need to be screened early and come to a physician to be proactive. Otherwise, the average risk of a woman getting breast cancer in this country is about 15%, which is, again, frighteningly high when you think about it. It's about 1 in 6, 1 in 7. But again, they don't have to worry too much about the diagnosis until they're in their postmenopausal years, unless they have these risk factors of having a strong family history or potentially a gene that they're carrying through the family that might predispose them to breast cancer.
And men get breast cancer as well.
They do. They again have a genetic component. There is a gene called the BRCA2 gene that tends to make a man more susceptible to get breast cancer. We don't know why most men who without that gene get breast cancer the way we don't know why most women get breast cancer still in 2020. But the incidence of breast cancer in men is about 1/100th of it is in women. So as you might imagine, men do not think that they can get breast cancer. When they have an abnormality in their breast, they tend to present to a breast clinic very late because it's the last thing they think is wrong. And so they tend to present with fairly advanced disease just because they're not thinking about it.
How often do you see a man with breast cancer here in Western New York?
So I think we have a fairly self-selected population, which means that it's an unusual enough diagnosis that I think there's a proclivity in the community for practitioners to send men to a cancer center. So we actually see a lot more than I think you would see in a community practice. But if I see 1 or 2 men a month with breast cancer, new breast cancer cases, it's been a very busy month. We probably see about 12 to 24 a year.
So research is ongoing for breast cancer, and I know you yourself is heavily involved in research, and you travel all over, and you stay up to date and are very involved. How important are the dollars raised through events like the 11-day power play in the community? How important are those dollars?
Well, it would be impossible to overestimate how important those dollars are, because what I told you in one of my leading statements is in 2020 we still don't know what causes breast cancer. So we need to find out what causes breast cancer in order to really make an enormous dent in this disease. There is so much to learn about where the disease's origins are, how to cure women who are not being cured today, how to improve the quality of life of women who have that disease, how to minimize the side effects of this barbaric chemotherapy that we still use. There is so much to learn, and those dollars are essential to, in fact, learning that information.
And Roswell Park was just ranked number 14 in the entire country for cancer care hospitals. How does that feel?
Well, it feels good. That means we're in the top 1 to 2% of cancer centers around the country. I don't think we as an institute should be satisfied until we're in the top 1%. There's always room to improve, so I don't think anyone intends to rest on their laurels. We always want to be better at what we do and more welcoming to patients. So we're proud of that fact, but there's room to be prouder, I guess.
So, Dr. Levine, you've been my oncologist now for almost 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
I will be cancer-free next March, 11 years. I know you're not supposed to talk about patients and their history. Could you describe me in a couple words as a patient? What was I like during that time?
Well, you've always been a delight, as this interview shows. I think that you were, as most young breast cancer patients are, were really very anxious. No one is trained to know how to deal with a cancer diagnosis, especially in an early age. So I think you had a lot of concerns about what the future held. I know you have a young family, and you wanted to make sure that you were there to watch your children grow up, as all young breast cancer patients are. So I think it's just the fear of the unknown and the fear of the therapy and how it would affect you. And when the therapy was finally over, there was a concern of cutting the umbilical cord. Am I going to be okay? Am I not going to be okay? Can I relax? Can I finally relax? So you were very indicative of all the challenges a physician faces with a young patient, to try to get her to relax and to live her life and to try to put the diagnosis in the rearview mirror. That's easier said than done, I must say, because I think the diagnosis is always in the back of your mind whenever you get a new ache or pain, which someone without a diagnosis of cancer wouldn't think twice about. When you get a new ache or pain, you say, oh my God, is my cancer back? So I'm not sure that ever leaves a woman with breast cancer, but I think she starts to gain confidence over time.
Yes, you answered so many of my questions. I would show up at my appointments with all of my questions listed, and you were always so gracious in answering them and making me feel relieved. I was able to jump on a clinical trial here at Roswell Park and believe that I'm successful in my treatment to this day because of what trials were available for me. I was diagnosed with a HER2 positive breast cancer, and if you could talk a little bit about Herceptin, when Herceptin became standard treatment and how it has really increased this type of breast cancer to live a longer life.
Sure. Well, Herceptin has been a practice-changing, practice-altering drug. So HER2-positive disease is one of the 3 common subtypes of breast cancer. It used to be the most dangerous subtype, even more dangerous than triple-negative breast cancer, which has supplanted it as far as being the most dangerous. But we didn't used to have chemicals that were really targeted toward the HER2 protein, which lives on these HER2-positive cancer cells. And Herceptin was the first of now many drugs that have come along. Herceptin was introduced formally in 2005, and it has cured so many women with HER2-positive disease who would not otherwise have been cured. So it has really changed the field enormously. There have been many Herceptin is still around, but there have been many successors to Herceptin. In fact, even this year, there are 2 NRH2 agents that were introduced that are now part of our armamentarium that are FDA approved. So I have women with metastatic HER2 positive cancer, that is an incurable disease, that have been alive for 15 to 20 years who have been taking these drugs. So it's just incredible. I mean, it affects their life greatly, and then they have to come to the cancer center to get their treatment. I mean, they still know they have cancer, they're not cured. Every time they walk through these doors, they know they still have that diagnosis. But they are able to live a wonderful quality of life and watch their children grow up. We try to make their life as normal as we can. But in answer to your question, drugs like Herceptin have made just an enormous difference.
And women and men who agree to go on these clinical trials are really, the heroes, in the sense that if they didn't try those drugs and put themselves in those trials, we wouldn't be able to further, have these successful outcomes.
Yeah, so I cannot emphasize that enough. I think as a clinical trialist at heart, the reason that Herceptin was FDA approved is that women had the courage to go on the trials, the initial Herceptin trials, where you were randomized to get Herceptin versus a placebo to figure out whether Herceptin would even work. So, of course, at the time those trials were done, it was ethical to perform that dichotomy because we didn't know whether Herceptin would work or whether it would even be more dangerous and hurt women rather than help them. We, of course, know in retrospect that it did a great deal of good, but we didn't know that in the early aughts, so to speak. So women who were gracious enough and courageous enough to go on these trials benefited all the future women who had HER2-positive disease because we knew that the drug worked, and the women who succeeded them were able to get this drug and live longer and be cured because of that drug. So these trials are now going on for new agents. We're trying to learn things all the time so we can cure a higher fraction of women with breast cancer. And I can say confidently we are doing that.
Well, thank you for all your efforts. I have one more question for you. Are you a hockey fan?
As you know, I grew up around Pittsburgh, so I'm a Penguins fan. I'm sorry to admit that, yeah, but I'm a hockey fan.
Okay. Well, do you have a last message for our players, our volunteers, our supporters in the community that support our event each year? Do you have anything to say to them?
Sure. First of all, I give them my profound thanks because they are being unselfish in their own way by giving all their time and energy to raising money to help people with cancer. I think we've made the statement today is that money really does make a difference, and it's going to continue to make a difference. So many people thank me for my services. This gives me the opportunity to thank them so much for what they do.
Thank you, Dr. Levine.
My pleasure, Amy.
Dr. Levine got me through such an incredible, important time in my life. So I'm grateful for everything that he does at Roswell Park and for all the future breast cancer patients in the community. We're going to move it to our new guest, Doug Kasparek. Doug Kasparek is from Clever Method, and really, you're right across the way here. You're right across the way.
We're a stone's throw away from right here, yes.
So you have been with the 11-day Power Play since Mike and I had the crazy idea 4 years ago.
Since the beginning, yep.
Yeah, and maybe you could share, how you helped us in those days that we needed you.
Sure, yeah. I remember the first time he brought it up to me, it was actually at his mom's service, and he pulled me aside and mentioned that he has this crazy idea, and I immediately said, yeah, I'm on board. And since then, it's just been breakneck speed. You know that more than I do, but we helped you with initial strategy and obviously with the website look and feel, the design. Taking the artwork that Carly Webb had done, and we added our own kind of spin on it with illustrations and kind of exemplified the grit of not only the game but of Buffalo. And yeah, we've been with you every step of the way since then.
So as our event has changed, it went from a 40-man, 11-day game, and then we opened it up to the community, and that created a lot for the website.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it sure did.
So what was that for your staff? Like, what were the adjustments that you had to make for the new events?
It wasn't so much an adjustment. I mean, we treated you just like any other client. You know, you were given the care and attention that anybody would get. But it, you know, it held a special place in our heart. You know, knowing my personal relationship with Mike and the fact that you know, cancer has touched my family, and you know, just the cause and the community aspect of it. So. You know, we pivoted a couple times to make sure things were getting done, and you know, in the early days, and first time around, it was a lot of last-minute adjustments, and you know, so we were just happy we could pull it off, and it's just amazing to see how it's evolved from that first time to where we are today with a street hockey ball. So yeah. Pretty funny.
A little different.
Yeah.
So you were in East Aurora for quite a long time with your company Clever Method,
yep.
and you just recently moved down here.
We did.
And what's that like to be in the middle of the city?
Well, it was great for the time that we were here. We moved in at the sort of the end of the summer of last year. So we were kind of looking forward to this spring and this summer, and then when you know, the pandemic hit, we had to shift gears, and we were working from home. So we're really only in there for 5 or 6 months, and so right now it's vacant. The plan is to come back around at least Labor Day, and we're kind of going to decide from there to see what the situation. But other than that, it's been great. You know, it kind of gave us a whole new shot in the arm, you know, for our brand and for our staff. And it's just been exciting being in this area, seeing the rebirth, and being on the ground floor, so to speak.
So what other things does Clever Method do besides website design?
We do everything, I guess I could say everything digital. We do website design, website consulting, digital marketing, software development, and everything in between there. So anything in the digital space we help our customers with, whether they're integrating with a database or they want to reach new markets with social media. We can do it all.
So you mentioned my husband, and you have known each other for quite a long time.
Yeah, we go way back, high school. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Any stories?
Oh, probably. Yeah. For a later date, I guess, right?
So this Christmas, you had given me a gift.
Oh,
a few months before Christmas,
right.
And you said, Amy, put this away. I'll remind you on Christmas Day to pull it out
and
for
I did
him
have
and put
to.
it under the tree. And I'm sitting there on Christmas Day with my kids, and I get a little text, ding, ding, it's you. And you're like, did you put the gift under the tree? And I'm like, oh, no. So I go running upstairs, and I grab it under the bed, and I put it under the tree. And Mike walks in, and I go, look what's under the tree. And it was a
skateboard. It was the same skateboard that he had when he was in high school. Yeah. So a friend of mine was able to find it, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, I got to do this for Mike. So
that's all he played with. It didn't even have the wheels on it.
Has wheels been put on since?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I'm a little nervous.
All
I'm a little nervous about him getting out there on that. Well, your team, Clever Method, Doug, Heather, and Bob, I mean, amazing staff that you have that have helped us, you know, all the way up to today. I mean, we had some issues with our live stream, and they were there, you know, helping us out. So we appreciate everything that you guys do, you know, for the 11-day and for our community, because you donate your services to us. So we appreciate that tremendously.
That's great. It's great to be appreciated, but it's, you know, not about recognition. I know Bob and Heather especially have a place in their heart for this, not only this event, but the cause you're behind here. So it's a lot of fun to work on a project like this, and especially like this. So.
And are you a hockey fan?
Definitely a hockey fan, yeah. If I were a player, I probably would have joined you, 3 years ago, but that didn't happen. So that's I figured I'd help in this way.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Doug, for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So we are going to take a little look here at Strictly Hip.
Thank you, everybody. One more song for you this evening. It's Frank and Steve and Alan and Bruce and Bill. Thank you to all the players. Thank you, Dave Chickster. Thank you, 11-Day Power Play. Hope you'll consider contributing to the cause at 11daypowerplay.com. We're the Strictly Hip. Have yourselves a nice evening. it was back road 72. We all squeezed the stick, we all pulled the trigger. All I remember, sitting beside you, you said you didn't give a fuck about hockey, and I never saw someone say that before. Held my hand, we walked home the long way. You were loosening my grip on Bobby Orr. Isn't it amazing what you can accomplish when your little sensation got in your way? The white fish and whispering over your shoulder. Isn't it amazing you can do anything? We hung out together every single moment, 'cause that's what we thought. Complete with a grip of artificial chaos and believing in the country of me and you. Crisis of faith, crisis in the Kremlin, yeah, we heard all that before. Winter time, out solitude with options, you were loosening my grip, the fake Cold War. Isn't it amazing what you can accomplish when you come that the nation got in your way? The white fiction whispering over your shoulder. Isn't it amazing you can do anything? Mr. Commerce National Fitness Program, some eternal flex arming, but to the mass, bit of laughter, the patient tolerance are expressed. Fireworks exploding in the distance, and for every tower soar. Fireworks emulating heaven till there are no stars anymore. Fireworks demonstrating heavens, and for every tower soar till there are no stars shining up in heaven till there are no stars anymore. Isn't it amazing what you can accomplish when you dumb left machine gun in your way? The white fiction whispering over your shoulder. Isn't it amazing what you can accomplish? Hey, I think this one thing probably never goes away. This one thing always supposed to stay. This one thing probably never goes away. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Good evening.
do 11 pucks here. We're gonna do 5 hardest shot here. I got real pucks, and this will be passing. So we'll do 11 pucks here. I've got a sheet where we've got groups of like 5 or 6 people, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, and the rest of them. So once everybody gets done with these, you'll go from 1 to 2 to 3. You know what I mean? Until we get that done. You guys get the other dummies in, and then I'll have Nate, Ben, and Nate. Where's Nate? Somewhere. You saw Nate. He'll be right here with a clipboard. After you're done, just give me your score. Here, it's shoot for every hole at least once. You got 11 pucks. However many gets, what your score. Don't cheat, you cheaters. This is out of your 5 hardest shots, just your hardest shot. And then this one, you got to put it in the net. So the closest one is 1 point. The furthest to the right is 2 points. The little guy is 5 points, and the far net's 3 points. 1, 2, 5, 3. You got to shoot for every target at least once. 11 pucks. Shooting right from that center dot right there.
You can't shoot for 5 until you got 1 and 2?
No. You just have to try every one, right? You have to attempt one in every, like, say you do every one, you can do whatever you want after that.
These are all pucks, no ball?
No, I've got roller hockey pucks.
You got to try for each hole over there, or can you just shoot for the one that's worth the most points?
I want you to try for every target once.
Okay.
So how many we got? Why don't you just split up? We'll start now. We'll make these guys.
You want the groups?
You know what? These guys aren't here, so why don't we just go like, how many got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So just go like groups of 3, 3, 4. Yeah.
Right.
So I got pucks. I'll get pucks. The others. Oh, by the way, at the end of it, we're gonna do a breakaway challenge with dummy and dummy, Sully and. I don't think we need to playing.
You want these pucks too?
Yeah, Kenny, will you just keep an eye on this? Hey guys, on this thing right here, this radar, shoot for the radar, and then after you shoot it, best case is it clears out to 0. It's touchy, so you just gotta watch it.
So who's keeping track of these?
You are. Don't cheat.
Okay, harder shot first?
Well, we're gonna do. Everybody's gonna do everything at once.
Okay.
You want 11 here?
Yep, 11 in the middle. Put those over here. Hey, put those balls away. I've got pucks. Yeah, put those balls away. I have pucks. We're gonna get shots from right here. We're gonna get passes out of the corner. Whoever's not going, go on those corners and pass them in. I know some of you guys don't pass it very well.
We need one more corner pass.
Oh, no. Half and half. Did you ever watch an All-Star game? Come on. How many are there? Right from the top of the key. Hey. Does your girlfriend know how to play? Oh, bar down. Okay. Whoa!
Pretty embarrassing missing that.
They bailed on us so far.
Number shot was 72.
72?
72, right, Fogarty?
I don't know about that. Huh?
That's what it's all about right here.
Hey, little help. Hey, dummy. Corpy, I say you get 10 points. 11. Kenny, come over here, buddy.
We are here with Matt Coploys. Matt, you have been tremendous in helping us in the original event. I mean, you couldn't play, right? Because you, what was?
My mom is an interesting story, and it probably saved my life because I was all in, and then my mother scheduled the last family vacation with all the nieces and nephews before they all kind of went on in their life. And it was right in the middle of it. I said, Mom, I can't come. She rented a big house in Nemacolin, and she said, what do you mean you can't come? I said, well, I'm playing this 11-day power play, 11 straight days of hockey. And she said, are you out of your mind, Matthew? You shouldn't. You're an old man. You got to take care of your family. You're never going to make it. And so I was a general manager instead, which was probably the best thing because I'm kind of banged up as it is. And I see what a strain the guys went through, and it was pretty amazing to watch, to see the punishment that they took and the perseverance that they had as a whole group. And I was there the first week straight through, slept all the way through, did whatever I could to help. But it was interesting because when I left, I was confident. I was like, these guys got it, the schedule, they got it down, they got their routines down, and we're going to, when I come back for the last 2-3 days, what it was, I knew we'd be there. So it was pretty cool to be around.
So every year when we have our opening ceremony and we have the original 40 playing against our top fundraisers, we include you because you were a huge part of helping us on the sidelines. You know,
I appreciate it.
I think laundry. What were you were bringing something? You were.
Well, we had 2 guys go down. Mike went down the first night, right? He needed an IV. Corpy needed an IV. Fogarty ended up in the hospital. The guys went at it a little too hard the first night. So
I wonder why.
Yeah, I went. That's the problem. That's why I would have been out there. Like you can't dial it back.
When you have Rick Jenneret announcing.
Yeah, when you're just made that way, you just can't dial it back. You're a competitor, so everyone wants to compete. And so the first night we went out, and I think we bought every Pedialyte in the city of Buffalo to bring, and everyone started drinking Pedialyte after that first night, except for you and Sarah, who, I was making you special drinks every night to get you through.
Yes, you were. I remember. Well, so Buffalo guy, I mean, you were born and raised in South Buffalo?
Born and raised in South Buffalo. Pretty much was gone from 1979 till 2003, late 2003, moved back. I was back, I finished college here in Buffalo, I left, came back for a couple years and left again. So had never been anywhere longer than 3 years from 1979 till 2003, almost 2004. So I can't believe we've been back here this long. And, my oldest, she was 8 at the time. She already moved 5 times, so we kind of wanted to settle down. My wife came here kicking and screaming, and now she won't leave. She'd be kicking and screaming if we left. So I've spent 2 years in Las Vegas since I've been here, 2 years in Richmond, commuting away from the family for work. So,
and the 11 day is important to you. Why? Was it the original 40 game, or was there connection to the cause?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a connection, right? Friends, good friends. I've had a couple grandparents. My brother had it. I had bladder cancer when I was 47 and came through it pretty well. So, I think it's just a cause that pretty much affects everybody that someone has somebody they love that's important in their life that's been affected. So it's a real easy cause to get behind.
Awesome.
And it's also an easy cause to raise money, I think. I think because of that fact that everyone's been affected, that people are very generous with their time and money.
Yeah, I mean, especially this year. I mean, hitting $1 million at 2 hours before ball drop. I'm so used to saying puck drop. Ball drop, we hit the 1 million right before the event started. So
that's awesome.
During a pandemic, I think our players pushing hard, the community helping, really got us there. So.
Yep, and that's a tribute to you guys to try and figure out a way to make it happen. In this, I'm involved with other charities and golf tournaments and stuff like that. And we tried to figure every way we could to try and pull off an event. And, in the end, it just wasn't going to work. And we didn't want to force it to as well. I'm on the board of cystic fibrosis, as you know, and we're a respiratory-borne illness. This is a respiratory-borne virus, and we just didn't want to. This is my husband, my handsome cousin, not my husband. I didn't even start drinking yet. Okay. So, that was kind of, especially, do you really want to push it? And it's hard to figure out where the line is that you're not trying to force something that can't work. And I think this is a great venue, and I think it's going to be a success. I think people will like doing it. I had more fun playing floor hockey than I thought I would. I haven't played floor hockey since high school.
I know, I think people were afraid, but with the rules that we have going, you don't really have to run all around the rink. You just sit in that back line. You might go to half the ice rink.
Well, I hope we have it on film, because I don't know if you saw me go down. Some guy, I was running, he stuck his stick in my feet, and so I fell normally, but then my nose got squished. I literally hit the surface with my face, flat on my face. I'm thinking, all the times, you play hockey and you never get hurt, and all of a sudden you're going to get hurt running around playing floor hockey. But luckily, I got my nose still intact, and still hoping for that modeling career to come through.
Awesome. Wow. So we have a stat board coming soon. So right now, the original 40s playing against each other. Well,
yes.
They're actually doing a competition
against
against each
cool.
other. So we thought they've already played. So let's do some tricks there on the ice, on the rink. So used to saying on the ice.
How are we doing?
So how are we doing? Stats are coming. Original.
Oh wow.
Original 40 power play. So this is 4 years ago. That was 3,000.
That 275 PIMS, that looks like my college career. That's right around my college number, I think. Another year, I think I would have solidly been in the top 2 or 3 at Canisius. Only playing 3 years, I was at a bit of a disadvantage. Yeah, that's about right.
3,348 goals during that game in 2017, and 3,400 assists. And
yeah.
PIM 278.
Not a lot of goals and assists on my stat sheet.
And that is sponsored by Lamar.
Very cool. You know what the amazing thing was how close, because I watched when we first got involved, Mike passed along that video from the guys in Edmonton, and it was really cool to watch them, and they were real help in terms of helping us figure out schedule and what to expect, and they were right on the money. But, theirs was a blowout. Very early, there was like a 60 to 100 goal difference, and ours literally went down. It was, no more than maybe 15 to 20 at any given point in time over 11 days, which is pretty amazing how tightly contested it was.
It was amazing. Well, we're going to turn it over to the rink.
Very good.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining.
Yep, we'll see you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye.
I definitely beat you, Sully. I definitely beat you. Like I said. Was this here? You're supposed to be here? that fun? Yeah, fun? We're doing a breakaway challenge. You gotta go put your pads on. We're doing a breakaway challenge. You gotta go put the pads on.
Yeah, see ya. Thanks.
Should start using adult sticks. That's smart.
Give you guys some point.
A group of Buffalo men are attempting to tackle the unthinkable.
Teams around this area, hockey is a 12-month sport, but most people don't commit to playing 11 days straight without leaving the ring.
Absolutely an incredible story.
Incredible. Hockey can be a pretty grueling sport, even for the pros in the best shape, but imagine playing for 11 straight days.
This is an awesome idea, but wow, what a challenge.
And that is a hardy bunch of people that are doing it right now in an attempt to set a Guinness World Record and to raise money for a great
A
cause.
non-stop charity hockey game raising $1 million for cancer research in Western New York.
$800,000 already, with more expected, so they are well on their way.
Try to raise money for the fight against cancer.
We'll try to keep it as evenly matched as possible throughout this whole thing, please. Low numbers first. Low numbers first. Put you guys in order here. Put you guys in order here.
I've skydived. I worked on a fishing boat in Alaska. I've done a lot of crazy things, but I've never done anything like this.
I ran one marathon, which was grueling, there's no question, but to do something for 8 hours a day for 11 straight days is going to be, I think, over and above anything I've ever done.
Our players are not just selected because they're hockey players. Our players are selected because of their involvement with cancer and how they've been affected, either personally or a close relative. What drives them isn't the physical aspect of it, it's going to be more of the psychological aspect of it, and that's what's going to get them through, as well as the camaraderie of their fellow teammates.
I do expect the guys to break the world record, and that's the perk in all this is the game, it's the world record. The most important thing is the funds that we're raising for Roswell Cancer Research.
When we're done with these 11 days, we're done. We can go back to our wives, our family.
And we're playing a game we love, and although it's, we've never done it for 11 straight days, we think about those people who have to go into the treatment centers and go into the chemo labs.
We just have to continue to think about why we're doing this and take care of each other, support each other, lift each other up, laugh a lot, and I think we're going to be all right.
Amy went through breast cancer treatment at Roswell in 2009. I started just thinking about ways to get back to Roswell. It's a place that saved her life, so we thought, let's try to do something to give back. I thought about doing something like a charity hockey game. It never really took legs. We were very busy. Amy was just getting through treatment, so it never really kind of took hold back then. We didn't really follow through with it. Fast forward to 2016, my mom had been diagnosed a couple years prior with cancer, so she ended up passing away May of 16.
That's when the idea came back, and it was even bigger and better, and we decided that we were going to try to raise $1 million for Roswell.
So we knew we were going to be doing a world's longest hockey game, but we didn't have a name, and we didn't have a brand, and we didn't have a logo. Crawley Webb and Clever Method just jumped right in and said, we'll do whatever you need to get this off the ground. They were so excited.
And we were treated just like a paying client would be. They couldn't have been more helpful.
You guys reached and agreed upon the 11-day power play. So without further ado.
All right, we're excited to show you. This first one.
Every time we walked into the meeting room, whether it was the name or the logo, you could just see the excitement in their eyes. I mean, the amount of hours and money that was spent to help us get this off the ground is truly incredible.
We want to make it, a community pride thing. So I think having the buffalo in there is probably an important part of it. It's always been one of the most important aspects of it, to make it a buffalo thing.
People are going to be wearing the apparel and proud,
Yes.
and that will definitely signify that this is in Buffalo.
You know, every time I get in front of folks like you and you're putting your time and effort, I can't say thank you enough. It's been overwhelming when I talk to people, and people are so willing to help out. It's touching. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
It was nice to see you
Thank
again.
you. You know, I get goosebumps every time I think about it, every time we talk to people and they have ideas and they want to give their own time and energy and resources to make this thing a reality. It's been really overwhelming in a good way. You know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, Buffalo, since then we've come through quite a resurgence, and it just felt right. You know, with everything that was going on in Buffalo, Harbor Center, people wanted to be involved right from the start, and that was a really good feeling.
Arms all the way straight at the top. 7. Good, keep going, keep going, 10. Keep going. Go. Right into it. Next leg. Let's go.
The folks over at Impacts have been giving us some dry land training per se, kind of a boot camp, kicking our butts on a pretty regular basis.
Particularly Jason Jerome has done a really great job. He's taken it very seriously. We've had a lot of fun, but he's taken it very seriously.
Open up his doors for us and get us into shape for this big event.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We debated whether or not we were going to announce that we made the goal at opening ceremony, but it was we had to announce it. So
I didn't know the amount. He whispered that in my ear. I was so nervous about making sure that I said it in a way that made everybody excited.
We're at $800,000, just about. Apparently, we are at $1,017,000.
When people talk about cancer and finding a cure, they're extremely passionate about that. And then when people talk about hockey, they're passionate about that as well. So when you put those two elements together.
I don't know if you could pull this off in any town. I don't think it can be done anywhere. I really don't. I did not expect to see a full Harbor Center on opening night.
Crazy. I mean, you grow up here, I'm 47 years old, I've been listening to Rick Jenneret for years, right? Now you hear him calling your name and your buddies' names, that's wild.
That might have been a little bit of a mistake to be going as fast as we could, and we're in the first 24 hours here. So,
but I'm sure on Monday, when this place starts to empty out, it'll have an eerie presence to it.
Hurt everywhere right now. It hurts to stand on skates.
Physically tired, getting about 2 to 3 hours sleep a day.
An ambulance is showing up for IVs and all sorts of crazy injuries.
It is a difficult situation.
Captain's log, the grind has taken its toll.
Got the ice, feeling good, took a shower, and I just crashed. I got really depressed for no reason. Started to tear up. I don't know why.
My blood pressure crashed down, and I was getting readings of 86/60 for blood pressure. So at that shift, I was taken to the hospital.
You lay there in your bed, and you're just like, I don't know if I can do this today.
You know, guys were dropping out, and I was looking around thinking, are we going to really make this thing?
I went out, I think it might have been my 5th shift, got on, felt good. Within 5 minutes, I just went downhill. I disoriented, dizzy, couldn't think clearly. It just felt like I couldn't control my body. You know, basically I was sleep deprived, and I had, eventually I ended up going to the hospital with 103 temperature. I had to get stretched out of here, unfortunately, and ambulance ride there. I definitely had time to think it here, so I gotta sit here and lay in bed all day. It's, just trying to focus on getting healthy and getting better, and that's it, and just be positive.
That's great. Yes, that would be great. I'm sure the score has changed now that I have not yet updated it. I have to update the score on the website and the billboards. So all night, it doesn't necessarily get updated. I'm like, it's okay, it's in the 1200s. That's only a 2-digit scoreboard.
So every shift changed. 8 a.m. our first volunteers come in, and we think it's important to make sure we walk around and introduce ourselves, Sarah, my event coordinator, and myself, just kind of making sure they're comfortable. Okay, so you guys all have been here already?
Yes.
Sweet. That means things are going to go smoothly. This event could never happen without volunteers. I mean, our team bench managers, that's probably the most crucial position, to make sure those guys are out there on time, ready for that puck to drop, ready to go, because that's Guinness's requirement.
We are recording everything. We have witnesses. All the referees are acting as witnesses. The security videos are time date stamped, so they're really the best evidence. And that's being downloaded every 24 hours and will be packaged up and sent to them.
You stop playing, you get 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes and 1 second, you get 10 minutes. So we were very clear with all the volunteers and the refs and the players, obviously. When there's a minute left, you're ready to go. Nobody said it was going to be easy.
Excelsior Orthopedics was amazing.
Yeah, they were rock stars.
Their preventative stuff that they did with their feet and their hands with the blisters.
Yep.
Halfway through, on day 6, they had already treated 2,000 blisters.
The experience of covering a single game and realizing that the single game gets repeated every 4 hours, that part of it has been overwhelming. But we're staying on top.
They were there 24/11. They were there the entire time. If someone came off at 2 a.m. and they had whatever ailment, they were there.
You guys are the best.
You know, and after seeing what these guys are going through day in, day out, you know, people are watching them on YouTube, and day 5, looking at them at 2 a.m. just to pop in and see how they're doing, and they're still playing. It's surreal that the game has never stopped.
Good morning. It is 2:43, the morning of the last day of the 11-day power play.
Just getting ready for the last shift. It's been one hell of a week. Come a long way.
This had so much more going on to it than just hockey.
People stopping in, just grabbing us and saying how much it means to them to see people out there battling and fighting for this cause.
You did it, brother. You did it. You did it. Sorry, boys. Oh, yeah. Love you guys.
I had a woman come up to me and she said, see those 2 kids in the crowd? Those are my kids, and I just got a call from Roswell and my cancer is gone. And I want to thank you guys for what you're doing.
We wanted to make this a Buffalo thing. World record, Buffalo.
I needed this event to slow things down in my life. It's been the perfect medicine for that.
Over $1 million in funds that will be used for research at Roswell Park. Hopefully we can save lives.
Every day we woke up and I kept saying I didn't want today to come, and we're here. We worked so hard. All these guys have worked so hard. We do believe in miracles.
I love every one of these guys. Just absolutely amazing people.
I'll have friendships from this that will last a lifetime.
Mike, I didn't see you much during these 11 days, but I'm so proud of you. I've never seen you so happy, out on that ice, smiling every second. You've actually changed life and saved lives for so many people. And I'm so thankful to be on this journey with you.
The only question I have is, why was 84 lumber not number 84?
Some of the stuff I hear them say to each other, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're really funny. They're a funny group of guys.
We got 4 hours of sleep last night.
All I dreamed about, though, was playing hockey against the same guys I've been playing against for the last 7 days.
I'm gonna laugh for the rest of my life because I got to hang out with you. Holy cow.
I will never play hockey again.
Someone snuck in Swedish fish. Today's one of my favorite days.
And since I've lost my mind, I'm now gonna leave. Thank you so much.
And here we are with the Swedish fish man, Bill Chef Lucas. If you didn't recognize him in the video, he was the one eating the Swedish fish. Who dropped that off for you?
I don't know. I want to say it was my niece Riley, but I don't remember who brought it. I do know that I thought it was going to be a lot easier to get those types of things into where we were, but it was never on your mind like, I really want to eat candy or want something or a beer. You just didn't think about stuff like that. But when it was there, it was really cool. So
did we force you to eat healthy then?
No, yeah, we got forced to eat healthy. It just was the last thing on your mind. It was so intense that you're focused on what you have to do, and you just kind of forget about those little desires.
What was it like sleeping in the locker rooms?
I had a nice spot, so
Oh,
I
you
was
did?
okay. Yeah, I had a little power outlet next to me, but it wasn't comfy. And
Was it hard to fall asleep?
No, falling asleep was pretty easy. Waking up was extremely difficult. Like having your alarm go off, knowing that you only had 3 or 4 hours of sleep, was not fun. Not knowing what time it wasn't fun. That little window where the sun would come in and hit the ice, and it gives you an idea. It's like, oh, it must be morning, and that helped a little. But that was quite an experience.
All in all, do you regret it? Would you do it again?
I said right afterwards I would never do it again, and then what is this? 4 years later? Is it 4 years later? Wow.
Yes.
For the right reasons, and I would do it again.
You would?
Yeah, I think I'm more prepared to do it again.
What would you do differently to prepare?
Find better skates.
Didn't you have at least 2 pair?
I had 2 pair, but I thought they were comfy, but I couldn't. It didn't work.
Yeah.
So I would revisit the skates for sure. I think everything else, we were pretty prepped. We had each other, so if someone needed something, you had it, whether it was a T-shirt or whatever, energy bar, sleep, someone to come in an hour early for you, whatever it was, we helped each other out. But the skates and the feet and all of that was a nightmare. But it was such a good cause, and I met so many good people that I would do it again.
And they're your friends for life.
They are, and they're all here.
39 best friends,
Yeah,
and they're all here playing.
39 best friends.
And you're missing out on the game, so we got to get going.
Are they running?
They
they're
started.
running?
Yeah.
Oh,
So right now we have original 40 blue, lavender,
Yes.
playing original 40 white tonight in the final game.
That's right.
So you're here tonight earlier because you're one of the top fundraisers this year.
Yeah.
And you're actually like the top fundraiser this year. How much have you raised as of today? Because I can't even keep up every time I look.
As a team, 93,000, just over 93,000.
Amazing.
It's incredible.
What about you alone?
29.
29,000
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So crazy. And you're this close to my husband, Mike Lezakowski.
I know.
Like,
I feel like every time I get close,
are
he
you-
does something.
Are you sneaking in something? Like, do I need to prepare for this?
No, I don't want him mad at me.
Because nobody's ever beat him.
I don't think I have it, but here Lolly just came in. Maybe I can have a little chat with him on the side.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that might. Yeah, you probably would want to do that. I won't encourage that. So as a fundraiser, I mean, this is kind of new to you in the last 4 years. Like, what is your trick? Like, how do you motivate your players, number one, and how do you yourself fundraise so much each year?
This year was obviously a lot different, but you kind of have to embrace what's given to you and find a way to make it work. One of the things that our team did was find little ways, find little games, get creative with your Facebook posts, get other people involved that may not even be a part of your team. So you can do that by playing little square games or raffling things off. We did a couple streaming online parking lot parties where we did, for lack of a proper term, maybe a little bit of side gambling on some things. But the money went to, the proceeds all went to the cause. And it was a nice way to get our team together outdoors and hang out when we weren't allowed to skate, we weren't allowed to hang out inside, we weren't allowed to go to restaurants. But if we can hang out in our back of our cars and have a little fun outside and go on Facebook Live and make some money, we kind of found that was a cool way to hang out, and more and more people started joining us. Just getting creative with how you fundraise, because the times change, is important, and if you pledge to do something, you got to kind of find a way to do it. And I think when other teammates saw what we were doing, they wanted to be a part of it too. So everyone just kind of started contributing. We had a guy who built his own computer and raffled it off. We had guys that bought football helmets and raffled them off. So everyone just kind of found their own little way to do it. And I think it inspired other people around us to help out.
I mean, your team is incredible. Have you known these guys your whole life, or is this?
A few of them I've known for a very long time. Some of them went to West Virginia with me, and we played hockey there together. Others I played hockey growing up with, some soccer. And then a few of the guys this year were brought on kind of by other people on our team. And there's guys on our team who I've not met, except for a handshake before all this started. And they carried their weight, which is incredible, because as captain, you usually know everybody on your team. And there's a couple guys out there that I might not know their names when they came up to me. So
I mean, I hear that it's hard to get on Bill Chef Lucas's KTC Brew Bus team. Like, you have very high expectations.
We have high expectations, and they know that going in. And we do it because, one, I care about it, and I want everyone to carry their weight. It's not fun when half the team's doing all the work and there's a bunch of people that just kind of sit back and do that. But they also know that it's going to be fun. So 2 years ago when we were able to do it, we rented the ice, we have happy hour parties, and people that get to their goals earlier get incentives for doing it. Like, you don't have to pay for the happy hour party if you hit your $1,100 goal. So you kind of incentivize them to do well, and they have fun doing it. So you got to make it fun, though. It has to be fun. It can't feel like work, or it's just not going to work.
So last year you had all power players.
Yes.
And this year, almost?
It didn't. We got close.
Power players meaning $1,100.
Yes. And there was a certain date. I think it was in April. Mm-hmm. We were on our way there. And it was difficult. It's a tough ask when you don't know everybody's situation, when people start losing their jobs and, maybe even having family members that are sick. It's difficult to ask them to spend their downtime fundraising. We still pushed on, the ones that I knew, and we still posted our stuff and had our little parties and our outdoor stuff. But not everybody did it this year, but I'm sure next year when things get back to normal, we'll be right back on that.
I probably shouldn't ask you this, but
I don't mind.
Do you have an MVP on your team? Is there somebody on your team? I mean, I know they all work really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. Is there an MVP?
Greg Beliotti, who is not a hockey player, but his heart is so into what we do, and he's a perfect teammate. He is when I had, I think it was yesterday, $28,912. He donates $88 to get me an even $29,000, and he does that for everybody on our team. He shows up to all of the raffles. He buys tickets from everybody, and not just on our team. He bought the meat raffle tickets for the Purple Parrots, 50-50 tickets, golf tournament. He is above and beyond what you can ask for a teammate, and last year he was leading fundraiser, I believe.
He was.
So
by far.
Mm-hmm. And that was his first year in the event. He was one of the guys we decided to add because even though he's not a hockey player, he's a good person, and he definitely carried his weight.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But they're all, they've all done that. Our beer blast, everyone has their own little job, and and they all do it really well, and it makes our team pretty special.
Well, congratulations on another incredible year. You guys are
Thank you.
First place.
We're happy to do it.
And always working hard, and just watching you guys, the events that you do all year, and Mike and I show up and have a blast.
I appreciate you guys
oh
coming
my gosh,
too.
Yeah, every now and then we'll pop in to say hi. So we appreciate everything that you guys.
Well, I
guys
appreciate you having us here, and nice jerseys, and for your friendship and getting me involved with such a great event.
Do you know why your jersey's lavender?
I don't. No.
Well, I'm actually, this is a good thing here.
Okay.
So lavender is the color that represents all cancers.
Okay.
So this week, I don't know if you probably don't know this because it's been on our live stream and you've been here playing.
Yeah.
We are, raising awareness for about 18 different.
That was my team right there. I can tell.
We're raising awareness for 18 different types of common cancers in our community. So each day, there's different color teams.
Okay.
So
really?
Teams right now are watching you sitting there and they're thinking that they're going to get a lavender and
they're
white
not getting
jersey.
lavender?
That's just for you guys.
Ooh.
So we opened up the event to really, celebrate all cancers, raise awareness, and get ready for the next 10 days.
So tomorrow's a different colors. Cool. 9:30 in the morning. Did I read that right? Someone's playing at 9:30?
First game tomorrow's at 9:30.
Cool.
And we go all the way through.
I'm excited.
Well, thanks so much, Bill.
No problem.
It's great to see you.
You too. Thanks for having us.
We're gonna take it over to the game. So you just came back. So you're Lavender, Team Lavender. How was it?
It's a ton of fun. It's a ton of fun. I'd rather be on the ice, but it's a lot of fun, particularly with this group of guys. So the players, if anybody's watching, when you come, it's going to be a lot of fun. You're still playing hockey with your buds, friends, family. So plan on having a lot of fun. And, yeah, come on down.
So we're wrapping up tonight. We're excited for the next 10 days. Every night, starting at 7 p.m., we're going to talk about a lot. We have teams that we've done team features where we've produced videos, telling their story, why the 11 days is important to them, why playing in the event and raising funds for these awesome beneficiaries that we have is important to them. So please stay tuned for that. And 11daypowerplay.com is our website, and you can track us, you can follow the live stream, and you can also donate. And right now we're at
$1,003,735.
Amazing. So thank you to everyone that has supported, the 11-day power play, and families, battling cancer in our community. We got to keep going. We're going to continue to go for the next 10 days. We're going to raise awareness to 18 different types of cancer that are, commonly affect people in our community. Up close personal interviews with doctors at Roswell Park. And a lot of fun celebrities.
As Amy said, we're going to be representing all the cancer. Today was lavender because it represents all cancers. But as these days goes on, the jerseys will be different colors. So it'll be fun to see what tomorrow brings.
Yep. So good night, everyone.
Good night. See you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Donate.
11daypowerplay.com.